the way the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. But he walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice once in fire, a mic on its dawn. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church will bring the fed. No hurdles, no illusions, no hollow in your bed. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Misled, thinking truth from the wreckage, lazy thought from the dead. Every word is a weapon, shot men declare, exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord marches with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist dead. On his growl rips through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, trigger keeps the battle is right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I'm making the chaos of found with
Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome, and oh my goodness, shout out to David starting off hot with the $2. Thank you so very, very much. Of course, every donation comes with a treat for the overlord. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so very, very much. Who else we got in the building? We got Lone Wolf Income. Welcome. Speaker of Purity. How you doing? We got, I don't know what that says, but welcome. We got our boy King Nirvana. Good to see you. Control Alt Delete. You got illegals eating hot dogs and cats, while the elites are eating babies. Unfortunately true. We got Melted Mind Media. Well, then I'll be expecting some strong opinions from you, sir. If you guys are not familiar, we are talking about Kyla, a.k.a. NotSoErudite, who was, I think as somebody said, in the Destiny sphere at some point. And I don't know. I asked you guys in the poll how often you guys watch Timcast, and I used to watch it every day, or when I was driving more, I would listen to it in the car more often. But it's kind of become one of those things where it's like I catch it when I catch it. So I don't know exactly how long. I don't know how long she has been on the show, but from what I've listened to, she definitely brings in that break in the quote unquote echo chamber. I'm not saying that it was an echo chamber without her, but in the same way that I've always talked about how Ian Crossland, the long-haired dude, if you don't know, on the show, where he's kind of, out of left field and says some really dumb shit. I've always said that it's really good that he's there because of, the same reason, that it breaks up the monotony of this is what we think, this is what we think. They argue with each other and stuff, but, having a very different opinion, I think really elevates the show. He said it's one thing to be in an echo chamber, and this lady coming on and lying about being a liberal when she's obviously a socialist communist. Tell us how you really feel. How does it feel to be an absolute Sigma male? Is that what I am? I'll take it. It feels fine. All right, so clearly you guys have some strong ideas already, so let's dive right in. As always, if you can, near the video, please do let me know.
For sure. The mandate of the corporate media right now is to buy podcasts, to absorb them into their infrastructure and put them on the front page of their streaming services. Duh. Look at what's happening with CBS. Look what's happening with TikTok.
Very true. Nobody has a fundamental philosophy, no principles, just positions. Welcome.
The play is... The machine state wants the narrative control back, so they're flooding YouTube with AI content to suppress independent commentary and channels. They will all get very small, they'll still exist, but they won't have a big impact on the general perception of what's going on in the media. Then you're going to need to reshift the political parties. So you can have, I would describe it as a Kyla Democrat Party, still kind of on the left, but more reasonable when they have a conversation, trying to make sound arguments. I respect that. But the weirder elements of woke and all of the weird gender stuff is going to slowly be pushed aside. And you're going to get a Tulsi Gabbard that is like moderate.
Oh, okay. So she's not like a new regular. I wasn't sure because I'd seen a couple episodes in a row that she was. So this one is from 2 days ago. This one's from 2 days ago. But yeah, I saw some clips from the other, the other episode she was on. And, not necessarily that I agree with everything that she says, but she forces that's why I put it in the title, the necessary pushback, in order for, the other people in the room to not just have the right opinion, but to really lay it out there.
Be pushed aside, and you're going to get a Tulsi Gabbard that is like moderate Dem with some social policies, but the strategy is when she comes out, she will not say Trump is bad. She will say, I believe Trump did his best with the information that he was given.
He's talking about Tulsi Gabbard.
Respect him. I'm not going to speak ill of this man. He worked really hard. However, I think this, and again, the play is they're going to restructure the narrative machine. The conversation.
Shout out again to David. Where is it? David Gillespie for the $2. Very, very, very much appreciated. Don't forget, guys, every donation comes with a treat for Morty. And if we hit that goal, then I've got push-ups to do. And it's been a while. I'm getting puny, guys. I need your help. And it is a peanut butter night. So if we hit the goal, Morty gets, the special peanut butter. If you know, you know. If not, you definitely want to see it. All right, that
play is they're going to restructure the narrative machine. The conversation is meant to look more like it did 20 years ago and less like it did in the 2010s. They don't want culture war insanity. They are trying to bring it all back together. So again, let me put it like this.
I mean, this is a very broad question. Is there a specific context? I mean, it depends on, would you rather somebody a sadist or a nihilist? I mean, I guess on the most basic level, I would say a nihilist, because a nihilist is not necessarily looking to cause harm when a sadist is.
The rumors that I'm hearing, and this could be all just nonsense, but from staffers and lobbyists and people in D.C. is the play that's happening right now. Like, why is Tucker Carlson all of a sudden saying, oh, this is bad, I oppose this, when only several years ago he was like, Iran is a serious threat?
People can't change their mind.
He can, but he's friends with Trump, and this is the game plan.
He's better friends with Vance.
Indeed. And the game plan is, if you want to win this, that you need controlled opposition. There should be an acceptable Democrat and Republican Party. And with the Democratic Party and woke being largely unfavorable, they are going to try and create a moderate space that will attract the likes of Joe Rogan, because he loves Tulsi Gabbard. And then you're going to have Joe Rogan in a couple of years being like,
And so essentially what he's saying is that the uniparty establishment wants to move away from the woke left and go back to essentially the Obama McCain type of Overton window. That's essentially what he's talking about. So he's saying they're going to use people like Joe Kent to be Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard to be like, the people that were on that side. So they're kind of based on whatever, but they're the new Democrats, so to speak. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. That is just what Tim is putting forward. Multi-Mind said, I hope I'm here when you get to it, but I have to work in 3 hours. You do what you gotta do, brother. Appreciate you being here.
I thought the Democrats were nuts. However, Tulsi Gabbard comes back in, and now we have real leadership for the Democrats. I think they can win. That's the game plan. But this prevents culture war, civil war expansion, and allows for the military-industrial complex and the pro-Israel element to maintain their wars and the liberal economic order.
Who do you think is all behind? Because this is a lot of really, really, really big pieces moving, and there's also an assumption that the Democrat base would ever consider. I understand you're saying the moderate rights right now it shift back to being the moderate left.
Meaning someone like me who came from a liberal background, somebody like me. Oh, we get Morty coming up. Hey, Morty joined the party. Oh my goodness. It's been so long. You remember he used to be in my lap every single night. And now he likes his chair. But I guess you're back. All right, you got to lie down though. And so that's that's what's being proposed. That if you have a Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent type of party, then you ice out the progressives and you get back to the moderates and the Republicans dominating the field.
I understand you're saying the moderate rights right now it shift back to being the moderate left and vote for Tulsi, but you won't win anything without the Democrat base, and the Democrat base is never going to go for Tulsi. Anyone who's touched Trump,
I don't know if that.
I disagree.
The Democrat base hates Trump.
I actually agree with her. I think once you are tarred and feathered by the MAGA, the MAGA aura. Once you're there, you're dead to them.
Trump so vehemently. Anyone that's touched him, anyone that's in their mind's been sycophantic and
the question's going to arise for your corporate Democrats. Who will they get more votes from, the moderates or the progressives? And the play is
the moderates,
to basically ice out the progressives.
But Gavin Newsom's already moving towards
that's
the moderates.
That's why AIPAC supported all of these Democrats and won in Illinois to get rid of the progressives.
Sure.
So again, I'm going to stress this. I can tell you this definitively because these people have said it to my face. The mandate for the corporate press right now is to buy up podcasts and take this. All of these independent podcasts that exist are going to be pulled into HBO, Paramount, Netflix, whatever it might be. It's already happening. Sean Hannity launched a podcast. Netflix has a podcast section. They had a meeting in.
I was not happy about that. I saw the podcast section on Netflix. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know if I trust this. Shout out to the viewerski. Welcome. Answering the poll. Do you watch Timcast IRL? So it depends on the guest. Same with Hot Ones. Did I somehow unsubscribe? I can't remember the last time I've seen a Hot Ones. I used to watch them all the time, and then, it gets to the point where, okay, I get what we're doing here, and it becomes about the guest. But I gotta check that out. But welcome. We also got equality and deference because vagina over on Rumble. Said, liked, and shared. My goodness. Thank you. So very, very much. You guys know that stuff is free. It's easy. It just takes 1 second, and it really helps out the channel. It does not even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link just by you telling the platform that you want more people to see it. They will show it to more people. Welcome. Quali said, I doubt that Jiggle Tits could fix anything other than her overworked bra. Sean Hannity has the IQ of a hamster. All right. I guess you guys are fired up. Let's get it going. And in case you haven't seen, we have revealed the Trump Hindu tattoo. You guys picked it. He's got his Trump hat and his red tie. I said I'd do it, and we did it. So definitely donate to the Hindu Trump Fund from the Indian Jesus.
It's already happening. Sean Hannity launched a podcast. Netflix has a podcast section. They had a meeting in Florida where all these people got together and discussed how they get into space. It is the corporate mandate. NBC Universal.
Wait, one of she being Tulsi or she being Kyla?
Is having these very same conversations right now. Don't take my word for it. Larry Ellison just bought CBS, and they're working on purchasing CNN right now.
Well, that was my question.
Shout out to Glow and Dark. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. said he doesn't have the IQ of a hamster. He has the IQ of a wombat. Very, very different. Very different. Get it straight. Shout out to TV Viewerski with the big. Oh, where's my wheels are stuck in the thing. The big $10 PayPal. Thank you. So very, very much, and of course, a treat for the Overlord. See, it's much easier when you're right here. It's much easier when you're right here. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Very much appreciated. Let's dive back in. Oh, really? I definitely thought you meant Tulsi, but hey, fair enough.
My word for it. Larry Ellison just bought CBS, and they're working on purchasing CNN right now.
Well, that was my question. Are you saying that this is coming from Ellis? Why is Ellis would be interested in Tulsi Gabbard? And why would Tulsi be able to make a better bid for the moderate, Democrat vote than somebody like Gavin Newsom, who's making a pretty hard movement towards trying to connect?
So is
and don't forget about AOC.
But don't forget about JD Vance, right? So these elements are at play. But again,
who does Trump support?
I'm not.
And so again, just in this moment right now, shout out again to TV Viewerski. Just in this moment right now, she's already pulling out more of the reasoning behind the things that they're saying instead of just us hearing the things that they're saying.
Entirely sure.
Rubio.
I think Rubio is the actual player for 2028.
This would soft require throwing Trump under the bus a little bit.
Well, Trump's going to get impeached probably. So
Trump's going to get impeached, and there's even speculation that Trump might actually step down early, so that Vance gets in as president for a little bit before Rubio takes the opportunity for 2028. Again, I don't know for sure. What I can tell you is this.
Like I said, you kept your word. Of course, I am a man of my word, and this is a sign of my dedication to you, this community, the message that I spread, and anything else. Find another streamer that will do that. Find another one that will do it.
Takes the opportunity for 2028. Again, I don't know for sure. What I can tell you is this. There have been rumors around DC for a while that Tulsi Gabbard was preparing to resign, and she was going to start doing PR moves where she views Trump respectively so that she can maintain moderates. She's not going to play the Trump derangement syndrome game. She's going to say that she respects him. He's a good guy. The Democrats were wrong to go after him, but the war is wrong. We shouldn't be involved. She's going to play the regime change thing.
Yeah, but you can.
Shout out to Jason. Welcome. Don't worry. They get into the reason I wanted to cover this is, like I said, the fact that she does bring good pushback. But the conversation itself, I think, is a really interesting one. With the news being so gobbled up by war talk, then we forget about the stuff that we're dealing with every day. That even if there's not an election right around the corner, then we still have to stay locked into all of this stuff, the street level stuff.
But the war is wrong. We shouldn't be involved. It's going to play the regime change thing.
Yeah, but you can flip once. You can't flip twice. That's like career suicide.
Even if it wasn't her, their strategy actually makes sense to me, because at least you get rid of the progressive side of politics, which I think is the most radical thing on the planet. And so if this is what they're thinking, if this is what they're planning, it sounds like a nice little strategy, because even if Tulsi loses, if she is the person, that still means it doesn't go to the progressive side like Gavin Newsom.
But who's they? Who's they? Who's the person at the top or the collection at the top?
So I couldn't help myself. I could not help myself. Lumwo said Gavin Newsom is making a hard try to connect. He said he is like black people. I'm a 960 SAT guy. You've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech just like you. That's what he said. And yet, I do think that, barring some wild play from the establishment like what they're talking about, then he will be the next president. I'm not going to say I'd be surprised. There's a lot of time, but something surprising would have to happen between now and then. Gavin's going to win.
These decisions that are unified enough to
Larry
do this.
Ellison is a big Trump supporter and Trump fan.
Miriam Adelson.
Right, which is why I'm going,
Bank.
why would Ellison fall in line under Gabbard?
So if a Tulsi Gabbard candidate is if your choice, if Larry Ellison's looking at who his choice is going to be, and it's got to be a Republican like Trump or some wackaloon lefty, he's going to be like, can we get a Democrat in there that's not a threat to us?
Like Rubio or Newsom. I have a feeling that I feel like he would probably go for Rubio, right?
there's going to be a Republican and a Democrat. They want the Democrat to be someone who's not a threat. They want moderately pro-war and pro-war.
They being
Trump's inner circle, the donor class, the people who are buying up these media platforms and changing the narrative on them.
Sure,
but you're saying your point is
elites.
They don't want batshit crazy.
But a lot of corporate elites
sick of the trend.
So here's the issue. They want.
So from what I understand, Tim is saying that the establishment, they want to move away from wokeness and the far left and the progressive ideology being that mainstream. And so they will kind of undercut the Democratic Party to make it seem more palatable to people who are centrist, independent, and stuff like that. But I think Kyla's asking, like, okay, how exactly would that happen? And again, that's the question that needs to be asked, because everybody's like, oh, yeah, Tim, yeah, sounds good. And nobody's being like, wait, what exactly are you talking about? Shout out to Yamaha Colors, and shout out to Tim Scott. Tim Scott could maybe
pro-Israel. They want some kind of Israel ambivalent or pro-Israel.
All of them? Because I feel like a lot of corporate elites, like it feels like right now what we're seeing is like the battle of the billionaires. You've got like kind of the Musk and the Teals like on one side, and then you've
Elon
got
Musk is pro-Israel.
Yeah, and you've got like the Soroses, and you've got like the Gates on the other side that are very at contention with each other.
Bill Gates is pro-Israel.
Yeah,
and indeed, maybe these people do not like each other. So the play in DC with Trump, again, I'm going to stress this. This is the rumor that I'm hearing. I don't know if this is true. Joe Kent maybe is just doing whatever Joe Kent feels like. They want to take control of the middle of the road Democrat position. They want war, and they know that the war with Iran is going to be bad for moderates. So they want to take control of a moderate Democrat space.
With the goal of putting the
goal
of war.
Your choices for president in 2028 will be kind of pro-war and pro-war.
So bad and worse.
Gotcha.
The way it's always been.
I was just going to say
again, the way I look at it is
going back to
Trump could have
it is being viewed largely by these donors and these elites that we must have a narrative machine the way we did.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I think she might be a new staple of the show. Like she brings out a lot of a good discussion, and it's not about agreeing with her, but she asks the right questions that make for interesting clips. So, all right. Troops are screwed. Oh man, yeah. I don't even know what's going on there. That's why I'm happy that we have something else to talk about other than specifically the war, because I'm just so lost on that. I'm so lost.
Donors and these elites that we must have a narrative machine the way we did back in the 90s or the 2000s, where when we say we're going to war for the petrodollar, we do not get media opposition.
Hence why they should be buying up all of these podcasts.
And that's what they're already doing, or drowning them out with AI slop content, or buying TikTok and banning certain voices. So again, I point this out in perhaps there are grand conspiracies I don't know about, or maybe there's not really, and there's just a handful of powerful elite billionaires that are making moves to make this happen.
There's definitely some conspiracy.
Well, conspiracy implying criminal wrongdoing. What I'll say is this. We know
shout out to Alex Stein 99
for a fact Ellison purchased CBS. They're making a bid for Warner Brothers, which would give them CNN as well. And we know that they're part of the group that is acquiring TikTok explicitly because of Israel. TikTok had a massive amount of anti-Israel content.
84% pro-Palestine.
Pro-Palestine. And this is not a conspiracy. This is not meant to be a shock content or conjecture. We know for a fact Republicans wanted to ban TikTok because the content was more progressive. Democrats said no. Then when Axios put out this report showing,
which was always a stupid position, because the position should just be get on there and lobby for them to change the rules to make it better, which it is now. I will fight until the end. TikTok is unquestionably the best social media platform.
The majority,
even with the liberal bias. Because I mean, come on, you you think YouTube doesn't?
Content after October 7th flipped to pro-Palestine. All of a sudden, all the Democrats were on board, and they said, yes, we should ban TikTok. Trump's strategy was not to stop the ban of TikTok, although that's what it looked like, and all these young people were cheering for him. Trump's strategy was, there's a better way to do this. You ban it, people get mad. We sell it to pro-Israel American interests, we win. Just off of TikTok alone, I think it is fair to see the play for every Democrat, every Republican, and the investors is...
This seems like a little bit of a stretch. I mean, maybe he knows something that I don't, but it seems like a little bit of a stretch. So to be fair, I was never on Vine. I remember my girlfriend at the time going through it and like listening to somebody be on Vine was the most obnoxious thing ever. It was just 6 seconds. It'd be like, but you know, the fact that it started out as you know, having the short form, that's not really what TikTok is anymore. You can do short form, but you can record up to 10 minutes. And if you have a video, I've seen 20-minute videos on there. I would assume that you know, if it's longer, you can just upload it. But yeah, and I prefer, and my algorithm knows that I prefer longer form videos in terms of what's available on TikTok. I rarely get these typical 30-second things. I usually get, you know, essentially a YouTube video. Ian's awesome. I love Ian. He's been on the channel. Search the Indian Jesus, Ian Crossland, and you will find it. I think he's a cool dude. He's very chill. I think the frustration that a lot of people have is that he really thinks outside of the box and not always in the best way. Sometimes in the best way, but not always. And so it can derail conversations. And we end up going on the show. It ends up going down rabbit holes that it's like, bro, what are you fucking talking about? And but yeah, cool dude. How much time have you spent on TikTok? Oh, exactly. Talking shit about what you don't know. You know, like the wokies do. You fucking lib. So don't forget, the Christian voters and Jewish voters will always vote Republican. It's a spiritual war for decency. Democrats can't escape woke trans ideology. And that's, I think, specifically what Tim is talking to right now, that they understand that. They tried it, and it's not working. So they're like, how do we walk this back? And you can't because of the ideology. So to use his words, you've just got to ice them out. Ice them out.
Fair to see. The play for every Democrat, every Republican, and the investors is take control of the media and pro-Israel, and the narrative will be pro-Israel.
So what's worse,
why?
a Chinese-owned TikTok or pro-Israel-owned TikTok?
I think a Chinese one would be worse. Like we're already sharing information with Israel for better or worse. You know. All right, what do we got here? That's your freebie. We're doing $5 side quest now. 2 hours. So wait, let's do the. So 2 hours. Come on.
That's it, a single cup. And then I don't drink coffee after 10 a.m.
It's just that I get him so high when I'm sitting next to him. He gets all
Shout out to Ian Crossland.
stimulated.
Actually, the secret is Ian's got a cattle prod. And when I start getting tired, he just walks in the room and shut the fuck up. No, he says talk more.
Go.
So it's like I'll record my first segment and I'll be like, Ian, I'm just too tired.
Go.
2 hours, 5 minutes. 2:05.
And they leave.
Well, they do. It's just that they're always going to be outvoted by common man interest, right? And so this is why I said there has to be a sweet spot, right? Tax the rich doesn't mean I would never be for like a 90% tax on rich people. I think that's silly. I think it's a bad progressive talking point. But like land value tax, for example, is so much better than property tax. It's genius.
How does it work?
Okay, so property taxes basically disincentivize you from developing property, right? Because if your property gets better, they charge you more despite you contributing to society.
Right.
Land value says you can develop it as much as you want, but if that piece of land, say you have 40 acres and it's in downtown LA, you're going to pay out your ass because it's high prime land and you have a lot of it. Whereas if you have 40 acres in
How does that compare to like Catholic and Orthodox? Yeah. Makes sense to me. It's the Protestant churches that are all the Skittles churches, right?
because it's high prime land and you have a lot of it. Whereas if you have 40 acres in bumfuck nowhere, you're going to get taxed almost nothing.
So you're saying like the government should appropriate people's property?
No, it's very much the opposite. It's saying we decide how much value a piece of land is worth based on its location, based on the size of plot, and you get taxed on that instead of on property value.
The problem is inflation, because if you double...
Let me finish the question. We're not asking a question. So are you familiar with like how property breaks apart and how value taxes are government appropriation? So
No.
I'll just explain it. So you have 50 acres in 1800 and you're in an empty area that no one really cares about.
Yeah.
You do a little bit of farming there, but 50 acres isn't really enough to do any kind of substantial farming. And it's a relatively small plot for back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You build a house, you die, your kids get it. 1900s come around and there's some development around your 50 acre plot of land. And so the value has more worth now because of the existing businesses. So what used to be just kind of wilderness trash No, it actually is reasonably valuable for anybody who wants to develop, but for the most part, they don't think about it. However, property taxes for your property. So let's do it all based on just modern property values. So you have a property that's worth $100,000 and you got to pay a property tax about $2,000 per year. And you make that money from your job or whatever it is you do, and then you pay those taxes. You give the property to your children, they inherit it. But now, because there's some development around, which you can't control, the property is worth $300,000. You got to pay $6,000 this year. Well, your kids who inherited are just working the same farm they always did. They're not making $6,000. The farm generates just enough to get by. So what do? They parcel a piece of that land. They carve it off and they sell it off. Mm-hmm. After 75 years, the land is now 50 different single acre parcels owned by a random smattering of people. Or the worst part is they can't afford the taxes, so the government seizes the property and then appropriates it.
Sure, but in the case of property tax, now we have a different incentive structure where they sit on their land and they let it get increasingly dilapidated over time, because if they improve it, if they put a new warehouse, it'll get reassessed.
But your argument of a land value tax functions the exact same way, slightly differently.
Slightly different way, in a way that I essentially am saying I have preference for. Like, you can be opposed to land value tax, but I think it's a better tax.
If you have 50 acres and we say we're not taxing the development, so we're not going to consider the structures as per the value of that land, right?
Right. It's going to be like spaces and stuff.
Then I build.
Melty, give me a little bit of a little bit more commentary on what you're there. Yeah, one step ahead.
Build a aluminum plant, which brings 500 jobs, and people start developing around my acreage. They set up a coffee shop. They set up a bank. Now you've got the makings of a small town from this refinery. That refinery and development did increase the value of the land it sits on. It won't be the same because the refinery is going to be worth tens of millions of dollars, but that land will go from 400,000 to 4 million overnight.
Yeah, and then it'll be more likely to be built into like a city later on. I think that this. So again, your argument against this has to be all taxes are bad, right? And I'm not for that.
No, it's that
I think
value
this is
taxes
a
are
better.
bad.
I think
like a wealth tax or a property tax or a land value tax or like paying tax on the value of your car.
How do you tax land then? How do you tax property?
You don't.
So just no taxes?
You can pay sales tax. You can pay income tax.
I'm down for that.
But the point is,
so just never move.
Never move. What does that mean? Never move.
Well, your incentive in that place, if all we tax is like sales, for example, then everyone is going to be incentivized to just keep property in the land. We're going to have extremely low mobility.
Is your argument that we should create a system by which people can lose their land to the government to incentivize them?
That's what inheritance and stuff is.
Well, it's not losing.
That's an incentive right there.
They're choosing to sell it off. Usually,
right. The government put a gun to your head and said, do it or go to jail. So they sell their property.
No,
okay.
Will
you go to jail if you don't pay your taxes?
I think eventually, but like very rarely. It's very rarely that like in cases where people refuse to take.
Will they seize your property if you don't pay taxes?
Up to a certain point. They won't take like your first home
so
or your
when
house
you tax someone's property and they've inherited the land, I can't tell you. I bought a piece of land that was for pennies on the dollar. It was inherited by the family that owned it. And they were like, we don't make money that can afford the taxes on this place.
Sure, but I'm in favor of some taxes, right? I'm obviously in favor of taxes.
I know, but when you tax someone's land, you're basically saying there will be no generational wealth.
Well, arguably, what you're saying is that while generational wealth will be maintained, but there will be no housing development ever at any time, because if you sell things off, you lose money. Yeah, because if you are the person,
you were arguing that.
No, I'm not saying that.
If a housing development emerges around dead acreage.
So, Melted Mind Media bringing us this side quest. That property tax right now is based on what you have on your land, which you don't like either. She wants to go around your property and on your. What she wants? What around your property? Oh, you like what is around your property to decide the value. And I mean that does come into effect of the value of the land, but not on the taxation, or it shouldn't.
That acreage becomes worth more money. So
if you only get taxed on what you sell, which is your model, then you're never incentivized to ever sell, right?
You are.
Why would you ever sell if that's the time you're going to...
If you have a reason beyond paying the taxes.
Stupid.
So, I mean, like, this is a great example. This is a great example of why I like Kyla being in this situation. It was the same exact reason that I liked Ian being in this situation. Not because he always says the best things, but because he forces everybody else to better articulate things to the rest of us. Maybe we don't understand it as well as they do. And, sometimes you understand something, and so you explain it in a way as if the other person already understands it. And then there's a lot going on, and we move past it, and you never really get it. Whereas here, we're getting into the weeds of it, and I think that's good. Shout out to more God's Hammer. Welcome to the party. Said, liked, and shared again. Thank you. So very, very much. Free, easy, helps out so very, very much. Doesn't even matter if you think anybody is going to click on the link. All of it helps. Calling said, taxation is theft and ultra gay. Bingo. Agreed. Agreed. We got Rule OV2. welcome. Said flat tax all day. No income tax, no property tax. Current system is a pyramid scheme. 50% of people currently pay taxes under a flat tax on a consumable goods, make it 100. Interesting. What do you guys think about that flat tax? No income tax, no property tax. Interesting. We also got Edge of the South. Welcome to the party. So again, I think that was a great example of So if I own a shit house and I could barely afford in a town my family gave me after periods, guys. Jesus fucking Christ! When did everybody stop using punctuation? This is the last fucking chat that I'm reading, unless it uses proper some type of punctuation. So if I own a shit house I can barely afford in a town my family gave me after they passed, then they build a Starbucks across the street, making to where I can't afford the tax, main to where I see to.
What?
Anyway, so going back to the current conversation, let's back that up a little bit.
See, the play for every Democrat, every Republican, and the investors is take control of the media and pro-Israel, and the narrative will be pro-Israel.
Well, Gus Hammer says the government owns your land and your labor. You're a slave. True.
So what's worse,
why?
a Chinese-owned TikTok or a pro-Israel-owned TikTok?
I guess the troubling thing is you at least have some recourse in the United States.
With an
American-owned
American-owned company.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like see the through line of like what the goal
China
is
wants
here.
to pull
So let me first ask you this.
Trump under the bus necessarily.
You do know that they purchased TikTok because of this.
Yeah,
right?
no, I agree that the Ellis brothers have been buying up all sorts of their
CBS. They're going to get CNN with the war.
I'll give a dilly for that. A good one. Yes, Morgas Hammer and anyone on the vertical stream, feel free to, if you're enjoying it, have fun. But if you did not want to be on vertical and you want to be on the regular landscape show where we have better polls, just go right into the description. The link will always be there. So right now we just have, do you watch Timcast IRL? Yes, every day, regularly, but not every day, sometimes or never. I wanted to see how familiar you guys were with Tim as of recently. Hey, David's back. Indeed. But since you let's do this. Since you hit us before the show even started, we got him in my lap today. Let's give him another one. That's a new rule. Any super chats that come in before the stream starts gets double treats. David, thank you so very, very much. Yeah. Apparently, which I don't understand. How the fuck are you watching something and also whatever? Just say period or comma. It will do a period or a comma.
I agree that the Ellis brothers have been buying up all sorts of their
CBS. They're going to get CNN with the Warner Brothers merger as well.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all of that. Well, I'm just trying to go, if he's...
Actually, really quick, quality, I'm going to switch up to a new poll because 30% of you said every day, 30% of you said never, 20% of you said regularly but not every day, and 20% of you said sometimes. So now I'm going to ask, is Kyla a good addition to the show? Not, do you agree with Kyla, or do you think she is smart, or do you think she's hot? Do you think she is a good addition to the show?
Purchase TikTok because of this.
I agree that the Ellis brothers have been buying up all sorts of their
CBS. They're going to get CNN with the Warner Brothers merger as well.
I'm familiar with all of that. I'm just trying to go, if he's so pro-Trump, why wouldn't he just pivot? If he's got this good thing with the right, it feels like there's a lot of still like motivated energy behind it. I understand Iran's not popular, but just why don't you just have Marco Rubio come out and be like,
they are going to have Marco Rubio.
But why wouldn't they get him behind him? That's what I'm trying to understand.
They are behind him.
They're behind both.
You know what controlled opposition is?
Yeah. But I'm saying, why would anyone think that Tulsi Gabbard is going to successfully run in a Democrat base?
She's not expected to win.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter.
Right. So they're setting it up that Tulsi takes the fall, and whoever else they set up is the better one. All right. So let's try this again. So if I get given a shit house I can barely afford, and they build Starbucks across the street, that would raise taxes to the point where I have to sell to a corporation or get foreclosed on. Because then right. So that's why we want the taxes, if there are going to be property taxes, based on what the property value is, not the surrounding the surrounding properties. Rule said she provides pushback, in my opinion, keeps the convo moving. If everyone agreed, it'd be boring. Bingo. That's what I said. Great minds think alike. Equality said she would have definitely been a good addition if she served beers while in lingerie. All right, fair enough. They get into it with this one, though. They get into it.
She's just
when
there.
Your choice is pro-war or pro-war.
Right.
Or I should say, like, Tulsi's going to be the moderate, but it's also this.
Okay.
It's
this is all true. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? How do all of you guys feel? Like, say all of this theory.
I don't know. I guess it just is, right? Like
I remember this part, and it's a little weird how hard it is for her to get an answer to this question. How do you guys feel about the fact that the political landscape is moving in that direction? That's the question.
All of my life until Trump won, this is what it was. You could not go on TV if you opposed the war in Iraq. They wouldn't let you on. All of these anti-interventionist personalities, they were just on little microblogs on the internet that didn't matter. Well, whether it was intentionally or otherwise, these channels got really big. Alex Jones got nuked. He was doing over 100 million uniques per month, and he was making an insane amount of money, so they ban him outright. Nick Fuentes starts getting really popular. They ban him outright. All of a sudden, then, you have several high-profile, prominent conservatives who were friends with Trump flip and now all adopt similar positions around the exact same time. Now, I will say it's entirely possible that there is a global or cultural zeitgeist where this is the content that makes money. This is what people are going to chase. So you can call Tucker, Megyn, Candace, and whoever else grifters who are just trying to make money. And maybe that's really just what it is. But I do think it's interesting that they all shift their positions at the exact same time, despite being friends with the Trump family and the administration.
Yeah, but it feels like the way you're talking about it, I feel slightly negatively, I guess, about this.
So interesting. Ultimate meaning said she's on the show. Nobody but Tim or her are talking. So I would say she's bad for the show. But is it better? Again, I'm not arguing. I'm posing the question. Is it better to have Tim and Kyla talking and having a higher level discussion, or everybody just kind of saying stuff that they're just saying stuff? Point being, the fact that other people aren't talking doesn't necessarily mean it's a worse show. It just means they got to get even better people on the show. I don't know. They banned Alex and fined him almost $1 billion. I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like $3 billion or something like that. I think she would be better if it was a one-on-one debate, not a multi-person show with 5 guests. And that is fair, but I'll give you pushback on that. You guys have seen if I've been on a panel where I'm the only atheist or whatever, I tend to get a lot of the attention because there's a lot of agreement from the other people. And so if they are going to speak, they're again just going to say the same thing that was already said. So I don't know. Would you rather watch a Tim Pool Kyla debate that's good, or a roundtable of a bunch of people that you kind of know and maybe you don't, or I don't know. Shout out to Guam Tech. Welcome to the party again, guys. That like and share. That's how we grow, guys. That's how we grow. Thank you, and welcome to the party.
Family and administration.
Yeah, but it feels like the way you're talking about it, I feel slightly negatively, I guess, about this. Like, I'm curious from a conservative side, like when you guys hear like the conservatives are maybe, let's just say all this is true. How do you guys as conservatives feel about that happening within your movement?
Well, it sounds like
that's all we're doing. We're just playing team sports, just like the wokies. Okay. All right. Like I said, a more in-depth discussion is indeed preferable, but I can't comment as to Jiggletit's contributions juxtaposed to the other kids. I won't say the other people, but I'll say that I definitely kind of fell out of the need to tune in because I felt like I knew what they were already going to say, and now we're covering it. So I mean. Guantex said, out of many leftists, I would say she is smart enough to hold her own, but man, do I hate her politics. Bingo. I can respect her intellect without agreeing with her. Exactly. You get it. Hey, shout out to Rule OV2 for the gifted membership. Thank you. So very, very much. And gifted himself. Awesome. That is badass. make sure you click the link at the top of the chat. That is the Discord, which is absolutely free. It's absolutely free. However, if you are a member, then it comes with extras, including the after party. So as soon as we are done here on YouTube, we head over there. We don't have to worry about any TOS or anything, and you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else, whether you want to cam up or not. And Rule's like, oh, it wasn't for me. Let's try somebody else again. Thank you so very, very much. Morty's loving it. He's loving it. Thank you so very, very much. Oh, man, love it. Love to see it. What did I miss here? Thank you so very, very much. Sean, welcome to the party. So I just unsubscribed from Timcast just now and discovered this channel. Whatever you're doing, the algorithm favors it. All right, we like it. Welcome. Very good to see it. Love it. All right, let's dive back in.
How do you guys as conservatives feel about that happening within your movement?
Well, it sounds like we're living on borrowed time then.
In what way? Like, what do you mean?
No, this is it then.
That's not a feeling.
MAGA is on.
No, this is it.
This is
what what's borrowed? Like for show
our voices,
privacy?
this show, this independence that we have to have alternative voices. We're living on borrowed time then.
I think we were always living on borrowed time. I think the idea that there would ever truly be a permanent decentralized network of commentary and podcasts was silly. I mean, in 2018, they were banning people left and right and then lying about it. In 2020, you couldn't even say, I don't know if we need masks. You'd get banned for it. You couldn't even say, I think the virus may have come from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which is a mile away from the wet market. They'd ban you for
the good old days. The good old days.
For that too. So we've dealt with wave after wave of censorship, and we've only had in the past couple of years a semblance of some kind of free speech.
So, but just really quick.
Yeah.
But do you believe even if that happens, the opposite must take place too, sooner or later?
What do you mean?
A cause and effect.
What do you mean?
Meaning before Trump, you had the media the way that it was.
Yep.
But because of that, Trump comes along and the opposite happens. Will that happen again?
I think exactly along with what this guy is saying. So again, essentially, Tim is saying what I think is going to happen next is that they're going to try to consolidate by icing out the progressives and make the Overton window much smaller, like it was before Trump. But this guy is saying, okay, maybe, they're buying up all the podcasts and all that stuff, and they're centralizing the way that you get information again. Maybe. But then doesn't that imply that if that is going to happen, then just like previously, we had a Trump to come in and break that eventually people will, have the same issues with centralization of information and want to break out again. Like I said, I will say I hate how she acts like the gentle teacher. She comes off as mostly unintentionally patronizing. Yeah, I mean, she's a liberal white woman. What can we expect, right? What can we expect? But she's hot, so I'll deal with it. Melody said she is not smart. She is educated. She knows her talking points, but can't understand why they're not liberal, but communist talking points. Well, and that's why we need her here. Because as much as we need to understand what they're thinking, they definitely need to understand what we are thinking. Oh, my goodness. Shout out to the Sugar Daddy. Monk, Master General with the big 10 gifted. Oh, there we go. Oh, where you go? You're hiding from everybody. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Welcome. Glad you caught yourself. Glad you're not dead. Ask him. The man almost died. He almost died. Thank you again so very, very much. Let's dive back in. And so again, the question is, if all that power and all that information gets centralized, then why wouldn't we see another thing like a Trump coming in to break that up?
Because of that, Trump comes along and the opposite happens. Will that happen again?
Well, it depends on the change in media, right? So we had there's a couple of theories on it. So I'm actually friends with the individual who started Obama's Facebook campaigning, which many contribute to his victory. He's mobilizing young people on social media, and the perception is, or at least what this individual has told me, when the campaign was told to use social media, this is like 2007, 2008, like no one really knows what's going on with it, but young people are on it. The older crowd, the boomers and the Gen X were like, why does this matter? And it's kind of like the Blockbuster phenomenon. They take a look at, actually, let me phrase it like this. You can't move until it's too late, right? So Blockbuster, for instance, is the biggest game in town in video rentals. Netflix, I believe Netflix was founded before Google was. It was like 1997 or something. And
yeah. Adam was the newer Adam was just talking about this site where he's I think like supertips.com or something where you can go and get donations and they you keep 90% of it instead of with YouTube they take 30%, so you get 70. And I'm like much appreciated, but ain't nobody leaving the site to give me money, bro. Not yet. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, people go where they feel comfortable. This is the exact reason why you see a lot of boomers still having cable TV, because even though it sucks, it's just what they know. Same reason that I don't like using OBS, because StreamYard is just what I know, even though it potentially is way better. Like
Netflix. I believe Netflix was founded before Google was. It was like 1997 or something. And they originally would mail DVDs to you. It was kind of weird.
Gamefly or something like that?
Yeah. And well, that was, I don't know if that's the same company. Oh, yeah. But then they had some streaming on their website. But some movies were only available for distribution. Netflix apparently was like, buy us, Blockbuster. And Blockbuster was like, no. The issue is 80% of video rentals are at the video store. And so Blockbuster is saying, look, we may be shrinking, but we are not going to allocate resources at a lower margin to a new market. No one does.
How does this relate to the changing of the political landscape?
So the same thing is true for the internet. The powers that be look at the internet and say, listen, we're getting 20 million viewers per night on CNN. Why should we bother with Facebook? And then 2 years later, it's 10 million. Then 2 years later, it's 5 million. And then all of a sudden, Alex Jones is dictating policy effectively.
Oh, okay, so it's still talking about the fact that everybody used to get their information from TV and newspapers, and now they don't.
And so that is one theory that we went through this period. We've gone through multiple periods where you had, as I mentioned, the Napster phase where music was basically free. Then they wrapped it up into subscriptions and they got their money back. Then you had Mega Upload where movies were free. Then they wrapped it up into subscription services or Amazon, and now they got their money.
We got to look out for that. I'm not doing any. Well, I didn't even say that. Or shout out to Dusty. It was AI. Nope. We got to look out for that.
Upload where movies were free. Then they wrapped it up into subscription services or Amazon, and now they got their money back. Now you have the political commentary and social media space where people are affecting the political worldview, and they're going to wrap that back up, put in a subscription service, and get their power back.
But so I guess I feel like I'm not going to answer this. If I heard this,
remember, the question was, how do you feel about all of this happening?
My own side, people that I supported to some degree, are moving in such a way to further crush free speech and control the narrative. My answer goes, that's not good. I like free speech. So, and I think you guys, that's like,
yeah, I said shit. Me too.
What you're big on in the show. So how do you feel about that? Like, I feel like the answer isn't, well, guess we roll over and take it up the bum. It is what it is. Like, how do you guys feel about the fact that in many ways, it sounds like you're hearing that your own side, that in many ways you supported.
My own side.
Well, you've supported Tulsi Gabbard in the
past,
past,
I would
right?
argue that the establishment powers and the millionaires and the billionaires have never been anyone's side other than the elites.
Come on, Tim. You know that she means just basic left-right. You know that.
But you supported Trump, right? And you've supported his selection of administration. I mean,
so she's just asking about from the perspective of someone who voted for Trump, which would not be her, which is why she's asking for the perspective. How do you feel about that?
It may actually be that it's all one big happy family tree.
That's actually the argument.
It might be.
Like the free speech crushing might be good for us?
No. It's that they're all basically saying, why are we fighting? Right. Let's just be rich and control this. What do we need to do?
Yeah. I mean,
so how, Tim, do you feel about that?
It's bad, right?
Yes, it's bad.
But how do you guys feel about that being bad? It's your side. So what do you guys want to do? Thank you. But what do you guys want to do?
But again, why?
Oh my goodness! Shout out to equality and deference because vagina with the $2 Rumble rant. Thank you. So very, very much. I have the window just too small to be able to see it. Public service announcement. Gold and silver have been hammered over the last several days. Gold is in the 4,400 area, and silver is below $70. So think about investing by the dip, not financial. What are they supposed to say? Not financial advice or whatever, but not a bad idea. Thank you so very, very much. And so this one was a point for Kyla. I'm saying. And again, we need to take a step back, and it's not about do we agree with her. Is this stoking the conversation in a way that is beneficial, especially from my perspective, to people who maybe don't have the time or desire to pay attention to the news every day? And I think yes. I think yes.
Thank you.
But what are you guys gonna do?
But again, why do you keep saying your side?
Well, because I'm not on.
Because she's differentiating from her own side.
Right, I don't support.
The media
Gabbard
companies
or
are
Kent
not
or
on our
Gabbard.
side and never have been.
Sure, I understand
They're not on
that,
the right
but
either.
Sure,
That's why she's not asking about their side. She's asking about your side.
but
Kyla,
you're describing.
you've heard
Warner
the,
Brothers
Can
is not
I
the right.
respond? Because if I'm going to be 2v1, I have to be able to respond.
No. You have made an accusation over and over again that the corporate media is on the right. Is not correct.
I've never said that the corporate media is
You
on the
just
right.
said it's your side doing it as
Your
described.
side,
The corporate media
as described.
is
He did not say that.
purchasing.
She did not say that, rather. She has been asking. They presented, shout out again to, there we go. Equality. Thank you very, very much. He laid out, I think this is going to happen. And she said, how does that make you feel? And he said, well, it just is. That's not an answer to the question.
You have made an accusation over and over again that the corporate media is on the right. Is not correct.
I've never said that the corporate media is on the right.
You just said it's your side doing it as we
your
described.
side,
The corporate media
as described,
is purchasing
Tim,
podcasts.
No. What you said is Marco Rubio will be the one that Ellis is in support. Tulsi Gabbard will be the moderate, slightly pro-war, but not totally pro-war. She's the controlled opposition that they're putting forward. But all this is being organized in many ways, it sounds like, by people who are supporting Republicans, behind Republicans, and believed in the Republican vision. So what you're saying is a lot of people that in many ways were part of your coalition, whether you like them or not, are in many ways now moving against your own selves to crush free speech. And my question is, what do you do about that? If your theory is true?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Well, but now she switched and said, what do you do about that? Now she's asking for a solution. Before, she was asking for an opinion on how do you feel about that? And maybe she's moving because they're not going to get into their feelings. But, I mean, hey, we're specifically going to be talking about this is what I said and this is not what I said. Then we got to be on point. Tim is fumbling this, but thinks he cannot say what he wants. What do you think he wants to say that he can't say? Interesting.
What do you do about that? If your theory is true?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't think there is an
What do you
answer
do
to
about
that. I would say I don't know.
Support opposition, right? Support people who want corporate PAC money out of things.
But the actual the reality is supporting opposition is supporting people that want to jail people that supported Trump, right? And people that would speak out against.
Let's do this, Phil. Let's jump to the story from Fox News. Pritzker.
Hey, that was on Tim. That was on Tim, Melty. Phil was about to go up, and then he was like, "Nah, let's move on," which actually kind of leads to what Aaron is saying, that he's following because he can't say what he wants to say.
Let's do this, Phil. Let's jump to the story from Fox News. Pritzker pushes prosecutions of Trump officials as part of Democrats' Project 2029 agenda. So this seems to be the world that we're looking at. Some kind of elite civil war that's been going on for some time. The powers that be. Let me just start the segment by saying this. If you believe that the Trump side of things has not been preparing for the world after Trump, I've got a bridge to sell you. At the same time, if you believe Democrats are not preparing for a strategy to
that's me. That's what I want to say.
Win, then I've got another bridge. I got two of them actually. In fact, I got 7. You can have all of them for one great discount. It looks like the Democrat strategy that exists today is lock them up and destroy their lives civilly. The Republican play seems to be we need.
Wait. You know, I'm gonna call it like I say, but that's not what happened. He didn't stop Phil to talk over Phil to Erudite. He stopped Phil from talking to completely move on. But don't worry, they get right back into it. We got AL Wine. Welcome. Wanted to try, come drop a like and say, keep up the great work. Well, thank you so very, very much, Dilly to you. Welcome to the party.
To create, there's three spaces right now. The Democrats hate the right, the Republicans hate the left, and the middle of the road people are flickering left and right on various issues. Sometimes they lean left on a lot of issues. They've been leaning right on a lot of issues. And so the play is, how can we make the left and the right, the moderates are the left and the Republicans are the right? And then the Democrats and the progressives just are not strong enough as a coalition to actually win anything. The Democratic Party,
which is actually how it breaks down in society. Like the people that want to make sure that you can get tuck-friendly suits at school so that your parents don't know. Like the people who want that stuff are a minority, but the propaganda and the ability for the establishment to just make that seem mainstream, they were really good at that. And so everybody's afraid to speak out. Stop Phil to show an article, and then she will respond. Tim will talk. Well, but I'm just saying, you were saying that only the two of them talk when she's on the show. And I'm just pointing out that the only reason that someone else didn't talk, that was because of Tim. Oh, my goodness. Again with the big 10 gifted memberships. My goodness. Thank you. You got to show them. Yeah. Oh, he's loving it. Yeah, getting into it. Thank you. So very, very much out sponsoring your god damn self. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. My heart is warm. Thank you so very, very much.
just are not strong enough as a coalition to actually win anything. The Democratic Party will then have no choice but to pander to moderates. The Trump administration will then be safe, or I should say Trump officials after 2029 will not have to worry about.
Oh, damn. We done hit the goal. He's in my lap. I don't want to get up. All right, let me play this. Let me get the banner, and then I'll be right back. But thank you so very, very much. Of course, that means Morty is going to get his peanut butter, and every $2 is another push-up I got to do. So keep the donos coming. Thank you so very, very much.
Will then be safe, or I should say Trump officials after 2029 will not have to worry about whatever this thing is that Democrats are planning to do.
I just want to go back to one thing. So would you agree with control opposition if it meant getting rid of stuff like this?
Me? I am never for the erasure of liberal fundamental.
Thank you. So very, very much. I'm gonna give him a few minutes and see if he gets up on his own. Because as soon as I come, he's not gonna be back.
Fundamentals. No, we don't.
That's not fundamentals. That's
is lawfare.
Well, crushing free speech isn't good either.
Like
this could be a weaponization of the DOJ. This could be legitimate prosecution.
The idea that this will not turn into a witch hunt is completely
Pritzker
farcical.
literally said, if we can't get them criminally, then we'll get them civilly.
DeSantis if it is Kyla. The case that they've done something wrong, right?
No. That's not what civilly means. Yeah.
Well, civilly can mean that you can't just brutally.
Back in the day, he used to be in my lap all the time. I remember once summer was over, once the winter came, anytime it was dark, he was in my lap shaking, maybe gonna take a treat, maybe not. He's matured a bit since then, I guess, but he's chilling right on my lap. I'm gonna give him a few minutes and see if he gets uncomfortable. He usually does, but you know the feeling. He's right there. He hasn't been over on my lap in a minute, but we will definitely not forget to get him his peanut butter.
No. That's not what civilly means.
Yeah.
Well, civilly can mean that you can't just brutally.
It means I will purport you did something wrong, but you didn't because you go to jail. You did something wrong, right? Civil is a dispute between two individual parties, and they're going to bog you down in court and drain your funds.
Sure.
Civilly is a threat of lawfare explicitly.
Yeah, I don't know much about Project 2029. So it really depends on what it actually comes to be forming. But in general, I'm not a big fan of large group pre-presidential plans like Project 2025 that get built up by a bunch of self-interested think tanks.
Right. Well,
that then get rolled up for people. I don't like any of these
No,
things.
I'm with you, but I'm just posing a question.
But you guys are saying, I guess we roll over for the control
No.
You guys said, I don't know what we do. And I said, well,
that doesn't mean roll over.
Well, what do you do?
Well, you continue to.
He did kind of say, well, it just is.
It is possible that you can identify something is wrong without knowing what to do something. How to change
I agree, but I feel like
that's not rolling over.
That's kind of the point of the show.
Boobies.
That comes to mind. There's nothing that we go, what is the way? How do we look for example, in the upcoming elections, regardless of party, the candidates who we think that's somebody that we can get in behind? And how do we leave behind these party ties to get good officials?
Right. I'm gonna go back to what Dvorak just said. And you know what? There's a certain point where I learned this from the left, the Karl Popper meme. I learned this from them. And you know what? I think they were right. Sometimes you cannot tolerate intolerance. And so we should use every means at our disposal to make sure anyone who threatens this is removed or barred from power.
This is the doomer shit. This is the doomer shit that had me be like, all right, enough, Tim. Like, there's nothing you can do, and it's just awful, and everything is awful all the time. Like, what? Why would I want to listen to that? So, all right, I'm going to hope. No, because he's going to be over there eating. But, all right, well. She's fucking hot. I don't know what you're talking about. You're bugging.
What about your current president weaponizing the DOJ against Jerome Powell and having multiple subpoenas blocked by federal cases? I'm going
to repeat literally what I just said. And I saw this comic book about Karl Popper where the left argued, use whatever means necessary to stop your political opponents. And for years, I and many others said, well, we shouldn't resort to that. And then we got beaten to a pulp. And I said, you know what? They were right about that.
No, they weren't.
I guess I would say
we are better. We are better than them because we are better than them. If we act like them, we are no longer better than them.
Stupid.
Shout out to Heimdall. Welcome to the party. And we got our boy Box, the resident lefty. Welcome.
Face, sooner or later, you got to say stop.
Yeah, I started my career in 2022, and I started fighting other lefties who said, the Republicans are ontologically evil. To them, we can do no bad things. And I said, that's evil. That is evilness. We're already giving up the game.
They still say that.
If there are certain Democrats.
Right, they do still say that, Phil, which is why it's good to have somebody on the left saying, hey, that's bad.
That want to break liberalism, that want to break more of the Constitution to get retribution to the conservatives that they are mad at. I am opposed to that fundamentally, and I always have been.
I want to make this point, Kyla. It was
self-defense.
DeSantis that made anti-Semitism speech laws in Florida, so conservatives will limit the First Amendment.
I agree, right? Yeah. This is why I think being a party diehard in either direction is really dangerous, right? But I think we have to look at, okay, if we know that Trump is already weaponizing the DOJ, and you guys agree that that's bad, right? And we go,
so the old Machiavellian, the ends justify the means.
That's not a good thing. I don't know if the next thing is we go, well, if they're moving towards a Marco Rubio who also wants to crush free speech and they're already actively right now weaponizing the DOJ, I don't know. The answer shouldn't be, well, I just don't know.
Let me ask you a purely hypothetical.
Sure.
There are two people with guns pointed at each other. You have a button that if you press it, their guns will disintegrate. Do you press it?
Yeah, but we don't think that's a little bit simplistic for whatever analogy that you're making here. And so maybe if they actually fought instead of using the word fighting when they really mean talking. Bingo. Right. Like if everybody devolves to that, this is exactly the black pill doomerism that I was like, okay, if this is all you're going to say, this is why I don't need to watch the show. Oh, well, they're bad, so we're going to be bad too. And whoever's bad the worst is going to be the winner.
What?
That sounds retarded.
Yes. If this isn't, I just don't know if this is analogous to the situation. Do you want to tell me how it's analogous?
Yeah. The point is we have two powerful political factions that are escalating the attacks against each other. And
all right, he's getting up. Yes, we can do this organically. I got a few minutes to hang out with my love and my in my lap. So thank you again to all the donations so far, guys. Only so far. We're still rocking, but we have hit the goal already. So that means Morty gets It's peanut butter. So yeah, if you're not familiar, I use peanut butter with my protein shakes, and can't really get much out of there.
Body walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice wants in fire, a mind on discord. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world of
Yeah!
the faithful rise up, they already know it's not.
Thank you. So very, very much. And of course, again, every $2 is another push-up that my puny ass gotta do. Thank you. And real quick, while we're here, in case you missed the tattoo reveal that you guys chose, the Indian Jesus presents the Hindu Trump. There's a red hat there. For you! Oh, all right, thank you so very, very much. And look how much he is enjoying it. Guys, thank you so very, very much. Let's see what you guys are saying here, and then we'll dive back in. Heimdall said we are fighting for our country. I agree, but the idea is that we can't stoop to a certain level, otherwise there's no country to fight for. David said, as far as any means necessary, is tying your hands in a war ever a good idea? No, but I mean, I don't think that we are at that place yet. I don't think we're there yet. I think there, especially people like Kyla, that we disagree with, that we think are stupid socialists, who are here willing to have the conversation. Yes, there's crazy people out there, but as much as you see crazy videos, how many people are really legitimately willing to go out and enact violence? It's not as much as you would seem. They're all talk, bark, whatever it is. There's no bite with most of them, and yes, it only takes a few to create an issue for an individual person, or it only takes one. But I don't think we're at this place yet. And so if we are in a civil war, then, if we're in a hot civil war, then okay, we'll talk about that. But I don't think we're there yet. But so what's going on? So Kyla, aka NotSoErudite, is a lefty. She used to be in the Destiny orbit. I don't know how close she is there. Maybe she still is. I don't know. But she has a philosophy background, and I really like where she comes from, even though I disagree with a lot of her positions. And I think her being on the show creates the opportunity for us to have, or for them to have, better conversations. Kenneth, welcome. Said, how do we get good people in government? Answer, stop voting in both corporatist Republicans and Democrats. You gotta vote local. It starts local. The people only get that far because they were voted in at the lower level where nobody gave a shit. Once they're at the general election, once they're at the Senate, it's too late. Have I watched the greatest series of all time? I don't know what that says. Period and comma. I know this may not make sense, but I heard a song once called there is that the or the guys, what is going on? You're making me feel like I'm having a fucking stroke. Gang. Box said, I might be a lefty, but I'm not a commie. That's what she said. That's what, and is there a difference? I don't know. Equality, thank you so much for hanging out. You have a good one. Has America leaving a vacuum ever been a good idea? No, it has not. We left Afghanistan and relinquished billions of dollars of frozen assets to Iran, and this is what happens. Yeah, I don't like it. Like I said, I give a shit about America, and I like capitalism. The Dem is a broken party with a wide open, a broken party wide open for the taking right now. And so that's essentially what Tim is saying, is that they, whoever you want to say they is, are going to create something like a Tulsi Gabbard type being the left, so that the far left progressive wokeness kind of is out of the picture. That's their plan. And Kyla is now trying to get an understanding. Okay, how do you feel about that as somebody on the right? That they're going to try to pull information back to a few sources instead of the decentralized nature that we have now. That's what they all say. That's what they all say. I mean, I trust Box, but that you're gonna. I thought you were I am. I maybe I just don't know. I don't know what it says. I just don't know what it says. So if you want to type it again with some punctuation so that I can read it in English, then maybe I'll get it.
Powerful political factions that are escalating the attacks against each other, and do you stop them? Or do you just say, no, let them all keep doing this? Like, the Democrats might win, and then they're going to weaponize everything. Trump's weaponizing everything. Just let it keep happening.
Well, no,
or do we shut it down?
I think what we do, for example, is like recognize that a democracy needs a strong left and a strong right. This is why when I'm in a lot of liberal spaces, when, for example, like Ben Shapiro is standing up saying there do have to be lines of who's in the tent. We go, that's good, right? I don't have to like any of Ben Shapiro's policies. You guys, I don't know how you feel about Ben Shapiro, and I'm not saying you have to, but we have to.
Fuck Israel. Fuck Palestine.
Look at people who are saying we must play by the rules of the Constitution if you believe in democracy and if you think that this nation's beautiful experiment of America is something worth fighting for. Then you have to find the politicians and the speakers and the pundits who do this.
It might not be pure free market capitalism, but it's capitalism. Maybe the worst kind, but capitalism all the way.
I just want to ask something. Like you've studied a lot of philosophy, right?
Today?
No. I just mean like you talk. Yes, today. You make a lot of references to philosophers and this question.
I love philosophy.
So you bring up the Constitution, but you must be aware that is not an argument to anything you're saying. Let me just elaborate.
First Amendment.
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I'm American.
Blasphemy was illegal when the First Amendment was ratified.
Is this just the argument you can amend away rights?
The left's idea of what is protected under the Constitution is fundamentally different from the right. And
this is the same exact argument that he had with Jack Dorsey and that Indian chick that on Rogan about Twitter when it was Twitter.
How each culture interprets the Constitution determines whether or not they believe it's being adhered to. So when you say we must adhere to the Constitution, which one?
I would say this is where the Rawls veils of ignorance is so useful. Is you go imagine
I'm going to go back on that, but Boxton, I heard serious people on the left today just now talking about making a plan like Project. I'm assuming you're saying 2025. I feel bad for them. I might re-register as a Dem just so I can vote in their midterm primaries. Why specifically? Is that why specifically does that make you feel bad for them? Elaborate. Did you watch today's episode of the most electrifying series, so electrifying, the Cuban Power Grid? Subscribe. I have not seen today's. I am. Let's see. I think the last one I saw was. Oh, God damn it! I thought we were on my watch later list, but I think I'm 1 day behind or 2 days behind. Something like that. Absolute cinema. We got Samuel. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. Lomo said, I do not believe in democracy. They're horrible. I only care about a constitutional republic. And obviously, but the context that she's talking about is not capital D democracy in terms of that. That's the major part. She's talking about the lowercase d democracy that everybody gets a say.
I would say this is where the Rawls veils of ignorance is so useful. Is you go imagine you're in a society and you can't know where you're going to fall. Mm-hmm. What are the rules that you want in place?
I want a machine gun.
Well, I want due process.
Agreed.
Right? That's
Define
really
due process.
important. Due process means that you are not
Process that is due to you in a legal proceeding.
you are assumed not guilty until proven otherwise.
That is not what due process means.
Okay, due process, that's part of all of due process.
Due
that you get,
process
the process
is
of pushing
right to a
against
trial.
allegations against you.
No. Okay, I'm going to clarify for you. Due process refers to the legal process an individual of their particular circumstances are due under the law.
Fair under the law.
That doesn't mean innocent until proven guilty, because due process can refer to civil cases all the same.
Okay.
It can refer to
Then I
executive
mean
branch
both of these
decisions.
things. I want both of these things then. I want due process
Okay,
and I
now
want
hold
an
on, hold
assumption
on.
of non-guilty.
Once again,
No, she said if we have a clean slate, what principles would you want to establish? Because you don't know where your society is going to end up. So yes, we have due process now, but we're saying if we erased everything that we have, what principles would you want in place?
when you say due process,
Mm-hmm.
it means something different to the left than it means to the right.
Yes, but it also still means some level of both saying we want fair treatment. I agree that
I agree with her that even if we are arguing on what is the process that is due to you, having the argument that there should be a process that is due to you is the first step in making sure that due process is correct, or as close to correct and fair and just as it can be.
Let's pause for a second.
Well, hold on. I agree that principally the left and the right are going to fight about what the way that policy plays out. But at least we can both agree that policy matters. Whereas right now we're moving in a direction where we're saying, well, maybe free speech doesn't matter. And I would say we might have different interpretations of what free speech should be protected.
First and
but
foremost,
free speech must matter.
The best example is the current process due to an illegal immigrant who has.
It's a hypothetical. Heimdall, how would you feel if you didn't eat anything yesterday?
An order for deportation is to be taken into custody and immediately deported. The left argues the process that should be due is a judicial hearing where he can argue his case.
Yes.
But that is not the legal due process for an illegal immigrant.
I don't believe that this is true.
It is absolutely correct. The executive Congress has delineated all powers on immigration through the INA to the executive branch, and that's why the executive branch has talk to Pisco about this. That's why.
So, but Tim, you're proving her point in this moment. The fact that you guys are arguing about what process is due to someone shows that you both agree on the principle that there should be due process. The question just is, what is that due process? Shout out to Mr. Alley Cat. Welcome. So the whole point of due process is so that the police can't just make shit up as it happens. It doesn't mean innocence or trial in all circumstances. Yeah, I think she was, I mean, she was definitely wrong there. But I think that's essentially what she was trying to say. Because again, the hypothetical is like, okay, what are the most important principles to us? So if we go with a blank slate and we don't know if we're going to be, America, like on top of the world, or some third world country, what principles would we want to make sure that us as individuals in this society can flourish? And so she's just saying having due process and the notion of innocence until proven guilty are principles that she would want in her society. Melty Minds, the group that went with Hassan to Cuba, had an Irish rap concert. What? It knocked out the power due to 99% of Cuba having the. Oh my God! 90% of Cuba only having power on is in the 5-star hotels they're staying in. Oh my goodness! Dilly dilly to Hassan. He every single day shows why what Tim suggested at the beginning of this is a very realistic thing. It was just a couple of days ago, they had a New York Times article there. It's like, the left needs to get rid of Hassan Piker. So stuff's moving. Maybe not all in the right direction all at the same time, but stagnation is never good. David said, this is a problem with a subjective language and a speech. I don't, kind of, but not really, because what we are talking about is the principle itself. And so there is an aspect of, we're using the same words. So what do I mean by this versus what do you mean by that? But it is also the concepts that the language is appealing to. So it's not just a semantic thing. There really is a disagreement on what process the left versus the right agrees that an illegal immigrant should have. And so the first thing would be that my state has to recognize that my rights come from God, and are there for non-debatable. Dogma's bad, but all right, that's done history pretty well, right? Box said, would you like to vote for this APAC candidate or that APAC candidate? Yeah, I mean, this has been politics, guys. You've seen the South Park episode from fucking the early 2000s, the douchebag and the turd sandwich. I mean, I feel like I thought that Trump could come in and shatter that and bring us into a new world where that wasn't the situation. But I was just wrong. He shook things up, but he's just another politician. Son has had his phone and hotspot signal turned off by his provider, and now he's scared in Cuba and can't stream. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. How will he live? How will he live? Hospital went out. Goddamn. And champagne socialists. They are the best thing for capitalism. Champagne socialists are the best thing for capitalism. All right. Dive them back in. Wait, I'm not saying they came in illegal, so what right do they have? The right that are enshrined in the Constitution that say all persons, not all citizens. So you have the right to not be murdered just because you were born in a different country. I think that is a good principle. I don't think that if you're in another country that they could just say, well, you don't have any rights, so we can kill you. That's pretty crazy, right? That's why.
To the INA, to the executive branch, and that's why the executive branch has talk to Pisco about this. That's why the executive branch has executive branch courts. There are judges that are not. That's why the left has been saying judicial warrant all the time, because the executive branch can issue an administrative warrant under Congress.
Sure, but the issue is you're saying, look, these are ways that we can interpret due process differently.
That's not interpretation. That's the law right now.
Okay, regardless,
right?
What I'm
but
saying
the law
to you
is an interpretation of what it says. Tim is he's very defensive is the wrong word, but quick on the trigger. Everything is like, yo, stop trying to win an argument and just have the conversation. We all understand that you can't be seen to be mogged by a liberal chick, but we can see you bugging out over it. So, do your thing. I mean, that's a whole conversation that I can't get into right now. But if you are on my side, then feel free to pick up one of your very own End Dogma t-shirts at theindianjesus.com. We've got a bunch of designs. We got our projection. We got the original, which I'm wearing right now. We got the Me and Morty South Park, the American flag, and of course, stop semantic obfuscation. That is how we win. That is how we win. I agree. Tim is too confrontational. He even jumps into debates between two guests. Yeah, I have a feeling that's why they stopped doing the culture war. Because, it would be Tim hosting and two people. One would be on Tim's side and then the other person. And then the person on Tim's side it would just be Tim versus the liberal, which I didn't hate. But, yeah, I think a lot of us saw that. And it's an ugly look. It's an ugly look. Like when you've got Emma Vigilant, when you've got Sam Cedar, when you've got Luke Beasley, when you've got David Pakman, yeah, go for it. But right or wrong, Kyla's here in good faith. She's not trying to beat you at anything. She's just having the conversation. And you're trying to win. Like the wokies do.
Due process differently.
That's not interpretation. That's the law right now.
Okay. Regardless, what I'm saying to you is, are you saying that we don't have due process as a principle, at least, that we fight for? I am saying
that what the left considers.
2/3 of you agree that she is indeed a good addition to the show.
Due process is incongruous with what the law actually says.
What conclusion can we possibly take from that claim, Tim?
Another way to say that is, you've seen me, people are talking, and I'll look, and then Like, you're just saying a bunch of stuff. What conclusion? Land the plane. What is it that you're trying to lay down here? What is it that you are trying to say? Buck said there are real left arguments. We have lost is the C. What? Quantek said, "What the culture war would the culture war make a good comeback if Kyla was on the show and was a host for the liberal side, like a 2v2 or?" I could see that. I could see that. She definitely brings out what we need. This type of pushback. This is exactly what is needed. Lone Wolf said CNN tries to do that to Scott Jennings every time, but they fail so hard. And that's the point, is that we have better ideas. So let them gang up. It's okay, because we have the better ideas. We got Liberty Plus TV. Welcome to the party. Said just like both of these people. Yep, me too. Me too. That is why it is important that we listen. Welcome. Mr. Alex said, I've been going over lots of Kyla discussions. She can get to the matter, but she never knows how to bring them home. Ironic that that's what's Tim doing right now. Mr. Kyla said she did this here multiple times, and she did this with Andrew. Maybe what I'm seeing is that she's asking very clear questions and not getting very clear answers. In this moment, that's what I'm seeing. Exactly. The battle of ideas. Two people who are wrong will never get to the truth by arguing. They might, but we could. They might not, but we could. It's almost like there's it's funny because you get a lot of times I get this I don't even know what the word is, but this attitude from people of covering something and they're like, oh, we don't like that. I don't like that. Okay. How does that make it more or less important to the political landscape? I'm not here to just show you the things that you already like. There's plenty of channels that will do that. I'm here to challenge you to be better. Because I think that we all can be better. The culture war was going at least until last month. That whole Tenet stuff was way years ago. The last culture war episode, let's see. The last culture war episode was 1 month ago. So I don't think it has much to do with that. Context, another good question might be, did Kyla join the show as a goodwill gesture from the left, or is she just in it for the grift? Probably for the grift. But again, I don't think that really changes the substance of what we can take from it. Probably for the grift, but hey, I mean, get your bag. Get your bag. David said, seems to me, Tim is just saying that the leftist mindset and interpretation is incongruous with the country as founded. Yeah. But she's pushing back. And so you may agree, but can you, and maybe you can, I'm not saying that you can't, can you explicitly articulate why this is the case? We all agree with it. Can you articulate exactly why? Because if not, then that's why we have Kyla here to explain it. Or to force them to explain it. All right, let's dive back in here.
That we
I am
fight
saying
for?
that what the left considers due process is incongruous with what the law actually says.
What conclusion can we possibly take from that claim, Tim?
When a leftist says, I want due process, we must ask them, what do you mean by that? And then you come to discover the left and the right have completely different worldviews on what that word actually
So
means.
your answer is we actually can't do democracy anymore.
No.
Is that your answer?
Okay, Kathy Newman.
Well,
No,
don't call me Kathy Newman.
No, hold on.
Right, I'm with her. I'll come back to this, Alley Cat. I'm with her there. Like, she's trying to get to a conclusion. Give me the thing. And you're just saying a bunch of stuff. And so she's like, okay, so are you trying to say this? That's not what Kathy Newman did. Kathy Newman, if you guys remember, was the lady from the BBC who was interviewing Jordan Peterson. And after everything he said, so what you're saying is something completely different than what he was saying, even though he did land the plane and did give a clear statement. This is not that. And the ad hom is a little sus.
No.
Is that your answer?
Okay, Kathy Newman.
Well,
No,
so don't.
Wait, so Alec said she knows that there would be universal suffrage, but can't get to the problem that it is a flaw with large states and too much state power, not who votes. Okay. Land tax, she doesn't understand a land tax is a tax on imaginary gains. These come and go, but again, the problem is the government spends too much. Not that we need to find fancy new ways to steal. Okay. What are we getting at? I'm in the same position that Kyla is with Tim right now. I'm understanding and agreeing. What are we taking from that? Why would Tim fly guest out and do a 2-hour show when he could do 2 15-minute episodes and make more money? Good point. He definitely, there's clearly passion behind what he does, and I'd never knock him for that. But I think he goes too hard. He does too much work, and he's burnt out and won't take a break, and it's affecting his perception. That's all I see. Well, so I was I always enjoy hearing libtards try to use logic and make an argument. Always makes me laugh. Well, entertainment, if nothing else. Well, we gotta agree with Box. All right, Box, the way I see it, I will take any representation of the left that is not batshit crazy. The bar is on the floor at this point. Yes, exactly. I want that too, because I don't want people feeling like they are so smart when they're not, just because we're voting the same way. I want people to understand what the landscape actually is and what other people actually do believe. When you believe that everyone on the left is just the batshit crazy ones, then you don't have to use your brain. You just like, oh, they're bad, they're stupid, they're evil. We have to do better. Comtech said Tim has been mentioning money issues with the show for a while. Did maybe he bring on Kyla to start monetizing the left as well? Very possible. Very possible. Maybe that's why we have no culture war. Maybe. I don't know, but he's still putting out videos on Fridays. I would much rather take a culture war episode, which would be a lot easier for Tim to produce than 3 of the daytime clips. Like, excuse me, with the videos that he drops throughout the day, I add them all to my watch later playlist. But especially since he's done like the "it really happened," these fucking clickbait titles, which cannot be helping the channel. I'll click on it just to see what it is, see what the story is, and then move on. And I imagine a lot of people do that as well, especially now with those clickbait titles. We'll see. I'm with Guamtech. All right, let's dive back in.
Can't do democracy anymore.
No.
Is that your answer?
Okay, Kathy Newman.
Well, no, don't call me Kathy Newman. Don't call me Kathy Newman. Hold on. I'm trying to say, Tim, stake a position. What are you saying? Because I'm talking about democracy. I'm talking about the values that we hold, which is what?
No, I think
the Constitution. Divorce.
Yeah, thank you. It is democracy, what you are describing, where one side is interpreting the U.S. Constitution differently than the other side.
And we fight about it, and we often have to engage in some level of compromise. That's the point. The conservatives want to conserve, which is their role.
Except when both sides are getting too extreme to the point where it's going to rip this country apart.
I agree.
And they're going to shoot each other.
Right. So then how is the answer, oh, well, things are getting too bad. How is the answer to do worse? I'm not saying I don't understand why you would want to. But you can't say, oh, whoa, this is getting real bad. I don't like where this is headed. But let's be worse. Let's be violent just like them. Those things don't mix. Shout out to Caucasian Debris. Welcome to the party. Sad fun fact, Japanese women's vagina are horizontal, not vertical, like Western women's. How dare you? How dare you? Welcome.
when both sides are getting too extreme to the point where it's going to rip this country apart.
I agree.
And they're going to shoot each other.
I agree. And so the question that I still have to pose as people who want to at least agree with these principles of free speech, of due process, though the way that I think of free speech and the limits that we have around it might be different than you, we still both value free speech. And I say, how do we of course we do. Of course you value free speech.
People
and of course I value
free speech. You don't think so, Jim?
I absolutely do not.
This is what I mean. This is what now Tim is being obtuse in whatever caveat he's about to give. Whatever caveat he's about to give about, well, free speech technically means da. He's the one playing the semantic games. We can get into the specifics, but we understand the general sentiment of free speech, meaning people should be able to express themselves the way that they want to, as long as they're not hurting anybody else. That is the principle that she's talking about. Very obviously.
Absolutely do not.
Maybe with the pandemic they want to shut us down, but I think generally the majority.
I know, like, we're going to go to like root philosophical, moral philosophies. A society.
This is what Andrew Wilson does.
A social body with a shared moral worldview.
This is why this is why you can't just have like a normal conversation with Andrew Wilson, because he can't turn off technically. And it's annoying. Like, we get it. You understand things really, really well, and you can break them down and articulate them. But you know what the fuck I mean.
A social body with a shared moral worldview can agree, we all believe in free speech. Then they ratify it in their constitution and arrest anyone who says Jesus is not Lord.
Okay, so then you're saying you don't agree with other people's interpretation of free speech. That doesn't mean that you don't believe in your own version of free speech. What the fuck are you talking about, Tim?
That's not free speech by today's standards. At the same time, the left that says we want free speech has arrested people for hate speech far and wide. There's a guy who got arrested for rap lyrics on Facebook. The right has argued.
Okay, and how do average people feel about that? How does the average Democrat voter feel about somebody being arrested for rap lyrics on Facebook? Is that the typical position of the left? Is it? Come on, man. No, it's not. Shout out to Box with the $5. Make you holla. Thank you. So very, very much more. We got another one for ya. Thank you, sir. Said, never forget, Tim got his start as a lefty reporting on Occupy Wall Street. Yup. And I mean, that if nothing else, that should show you why it's so important to constantly be rechecking in with the people that you listen to, that you pay attention to, because people change. People change over time. We got the same hat that Tim does. I mean, who doesn't have a black beanie, right? David said, it has been a both sides thing more recently, the left generally only believes in free speech they agree with. Right. And so that is then our job to argue against their incorrect interpretation of what free speech is. That's politics. Welcome to the game.
Speech far and wide. There's a guy who got arrested for rap lyrics on Facebook. The right has argued, no, we should be allowed to say these things. We should be allowed to post rap lyrics. There is not a unified moral view on what free speech is, and there never has been.
Sure, but
additionally, I will add to that, the Second Amendment has never historically meant that anyone anywhere can carry guns. It meant the federal government couldn't impose a law over the states to stop an individual from carrying a weapon. But routinely in the 1800s, men would ride on horseback in a town, and the sheriff would say, hand over your guns.
And so that means that I don't believe in free speech because...
What? The view of what is the Constitution shifts dramatically all the time.
Of course.
And the left and the right are so divergent in this, it's extreme.
Sure, but that doesn't mean that these things can't be unified. I guess my question to you is, what's the conclusion from what you're saying?
The right...
You're just saying things, bro. What does any of this mean?
Right Constitution I would define as the traditional American constitutional republic, and the left constitution is a multicultural democracy. So I don't care what words are used by each other, but they are entirely advocating for two different worlds.
I don't care what your words you mean, but I'm going to purposely pretend that I don't understand what you're saying as you use particular words.
Come on, man.
It has come to the point where they are threatening force against each other and exercising that.
Yes.
I believe we should, whatever means necessary to stop this escalation needs to occur. Unfortunately, neither side will back off. That means if Don
Aaron said, I'm not a Democrat, but I would say if he admits to murder in rap lyrics, then yes. Okay, but that's not getting arrested for what you say. That's getting arrested for murder. Talk about being obtuse. But I think my point stands. Let's say that he didn't murder anybody. And he just said, fuck all the white people. What if that's the lyrics? I may get arrested for that. Would you be for or against that? Exactly.
Donald Trump pulls a move with powerful investors and billionaires to create a new Democrat-Republican spectrum. The progressives are not simply going to say, guess we lose. They're going to get guns and they're going to go shoot people.
Sure.
I don't know what the off-ramp is for all of this, but I can tell you when Pritzker is saying we will arrest and if we can't, we'll destroy you civilly.
Okay.
You swerve the Supreme Court hearing on the town drunk and the ability of the government to take arms from people.
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. So enlighten. If it's missed, then take it.
When Pritzker is saying we will arrest and if we can't, we'll destroy you civilly.
Okay.
Did you know that right now, there's a hilarious story from SFK. Hundreds of millionaires, and this meant like hundreds, this is a large number, there are services that exist to facilitate the exodus from this country right now because of things like that. It is not a question of if you are a political player. There's a fear among high net worth individuals that the Democrats,
like yourself, Tim,
are going to Bolshevik your ass.
Sure.
Even if
and on
you
the
are
left,
neutral.
On the left, when Project 2025 came out, it was the exact same type of terror and fear because both
Who was 2025
sides.
going to go after?
But
Project 2025 had a lot of things that a lot of the left
all right, where are we going with this, Kyla?
viewed
My
as
point
shrinking
is,
of rights, shrinking of rights of
apolitical
vulnerability
wealthy
groups.
individuals are fleeing, not Republicans, because they fear that the Democrats are going to swing the hammer against anyone.
And they fear it because
both sides are going to be further radicalized.
No.
They fear it because, no, they fear it because the ballot measure in California, because of what's going on in Washington State, and because there's Ro Khanna and Bernie Sanders talking about that same kind of policy nationwide.
So this is the thing that I'm getting confused by. You keep on saying this situation at hand, and that both parties are going to ramp up, and we're basically engaging in like brinksmanship. And I'm saying to you, what's the conclusion that we take from that?
Civil war?
Yes, exactly. And then? So everything's ramping up, and then?
My conclusion is I don't want a civil war because I don't want a bunch.
I said shit. Me too. Shout out to Seth Thunder. Said, that's not the government of the kingdom of the disease. Are you dumb or not dumb? I'm assuming y'all talking to each other. Welcome.
From that.
Civil war?
Well, my conclusion is I don't want a civil war because I don't want a bunch of mostly young men dying for this. I think that that's the worst outcome. I look at this and I go, this is the issue. That's not the answer because both sides insist. Well, one of the things that can't be the answer is insisting that it's just the left or insisting that it's just the right. That can't be the answer.
So who's going to lay?
Hey, I'll give Kyla a dilly for that. The tribalism of you have to be on the left or you have to be on the right, and that everybody on the left is evil and everybody on the right is evil, or everyone on the other team is evil. That's bad. That doesn't help anybody.
It's just the left or insisting that it's just the right. That
So
can't be the
who's
answer.
going to lay down their arms?
I'm trying to.
So the answer is fairly obvious, isn't it?
It's actually not because
You
the
think
future
that these Trump
isn't set.
officials are going to be like, guess I go to jail?
No. I don't think Trump officials are going to change, but there might be noble, meaningful, good conservative and
after J6.
Republicans. That's terrifying that you believe that and you've been supporting that side.
What? So Tim said that there are no people on the conservative side who want this to end in any other way than civil war since J6 happened? What? Maybe I'm dumb. Let's hear that again. Maybe I'm dumb.
Because
You
the
think
future
that these
isn't
Trump
set.
officials are going to be like, guess I go to jail?
So again, talking about, who's going to lay down their arms? I was under the impression that we were talking about the voters, the people, that we expect the politicians to constantly be playing the politician game. It's up to the people to understand that is an aspect of life, and then our culture is underneath that and very important. But okay, fine. So if he's asking who's going to lay down their weapons first, and you're talking about the politicians, nobody. But what do the politicians need? Support from the people. So it should be, I am going to lay my weapons down. Not, well, if you're going to do it and I hate it, I'm going to do it too. You can feel that way, but then you can't pretend like you're not trying to make things worse. You can't act like you're not a provocateur if you're saying, well, they provocate? You know what I mean? They did it, so now we're gonna do it. I'm not about that. Maybe you are. That's totally fine, but I'm not. Ooh, we got a hungry dance. I guess the peanut butter wasn't enough. He is hungry today. Other media said, I agree. I would not trust the Dems to not plot behind our backs. They arrested people who were not even at J6. True. Okay. And so then you agree with Tim to just start doing political violence, or what I feel like I feel like I am a Kyla right now. I'm not. What conclusion are we taking? We're saying a lot of things. What is the conclusion? What is the point of what we're talking about? Like I said, it looks like Kyla was laying down her arms, but then she started talking Italian again. I mean, hey, these Italian ladies. Oh my God! Oh my God! It's my weakness. Hey, we got the Big Daddy Pod. Welcome to the party. Well, it depends on the context of what we're talking about. We could be me and Morty. We could be the people watching the stream. We could be people in America. I don't know. What are we? What's the context?
It's actually not, because
you
the
think
future
that these Trump officials are going to be like, guess I go to jail?
No. I don't think Trump officials are going to change, but there might be noble, meaningful, good conservative and Republicans.
J6.
Okay, so David said, Tim is saying because of the lawfare around J6, where some people were jailed with no due process, the conservatives cannot lose or risk prison or death. I don't see that. I don't see that. Do you guys agree with that? I don't think, again, I'm not saying we can't get there. I just don't think we're that far gone yet. I think this is the fear mongering that we see on, social media, the news, and doom scrolling and all that. Shout out to Tree Rogie. Welcome to the party. Said, Seth, you're a mosquito. Well, he said, no, I will not do a peaceful protest or a violent protest. If the Dems are in power, they will do mass arrest. Yeah. You're saying we have better arguments? Who is we? The people who have the better arguments. What do you mean? If we have better arguments, then we argue those things, and the conclusion comes out that the other argument doesn't make sense. Like a conversation or a debate. What is Liberty saying? The left-right paradigm has really fucked people up. I remember the right also being against free speech and due process with the Patriot Act. Yep. The pendulum does swing.
There might be noble, meaningful, good conservative and Republicans.
J6.
That's terrifying that you believe that and you've been supporting that side.
Who said supporting what side?
You are obviously supporting Trump. You obviously support conservatives. This
what
is
does that have to do
true
with what we're talking about?
Because you said that none of this matters. Any rule of law, any values of what we've built our system and constitution on. Yes, we are talking about these things. I'm talking.
And again, I think if we're conflating the average person. If you are in the game of politics and you're playing the game of politics, I agree with you that things are getting ramped up. My point is that we don't have control over the people above us. We only have control over people, yourself, and the people that you can communicate directly with. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying there are two distinct factions that are ready to tear each other to shreds, and nothing's going to stop it.
And I'm saying, if that.
So let's just not do anything because, like, okay, fine. If you want to just sit with your head in the sand and wait for everybody to kill each other, then go for it. But some of us are willing to put in some work to try to prevent that.
Is the exact belief that makes it inevitable. So. And both sides are saying that right now.
Some things are
I'm
true.
trying to say,
yup, shout out to Kyla.
So nothing's going to stop it.
And I'm saying, if that is the exact belief that makes it inevitable. So, and both sides are saying that right now.
Some things are
the black-pilled mindset. If we go over to dating and talk about being black-pilled, oh my God, what a fucking loser. But in politics, oh, it's been, the world has never seen tumult like this.
Come on, man.
I'm trying to say, I want to put my gun down.
Yeah.
That's why I talk to you guys.
No, I get what you're saying. I just think the reality is it's going to happen because that is the life cycle.
Okay, again, so then what do you do? It sounds like what you're saying, my confusion, and it sounds like Kyla's exact same confusion, is okay, if they push this for 10 years and cannot be ignored. And then, what does that mean? What do you mean? Because that sounds like you're calling for political violence. What does that mean?
Of a country.
Listen, not a single Republican will ever tolerate trans kids. Yeah. It's not happening.
They don't have to in their state.
I just want to make this point.
Let me give you an example that I've cited quite a bit. Oklahoma has banned abortion outright.
Yep.
Colorado has passed abortion to the point of birth for any reason, elective.
Mm-hmm.
A potential scenario that I've given would be a woman is 6 months pregnant and she lives not too far from the border of Colorado. She decides, so in her mind, she says, this man is abusive and I had this child with him. It's going to be a world of nightmarish pain and it could be harmful to the child. I can't bring a child in this world. So she flees. The man's perspective is, I am not abusive. I've never touched her. And she just kidnapped my child to kill him and she doesn't need to.
And yeah, being optimistic but preparing for the worst are not mutually exclusive. You can understand that, oh, this is going to hell in a handbasket, without being like, because it's going to hell in a handbasket, well, whatever, let's just start killing our enemies. Yeah, that does not follow. I mean, he said the people who tried to stop the communication have been abused. Okay, so again, my question to you, sir, is what does that mean? What do I do with this information? What do I do next? I have heard what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. My goals are aligned with your goals. What now? Because otherwise you're just complaining. And fair, you're allowed to complain. But we've got the complaints down. What do I do with this information? Left and right, I mean, that is one thing that usually brings the sides together, but this one is not doing that. Well, so what is the average Dem voter? Where is the average Dem voter? The average Dem voter in NYC was violent to Cam Higbee. He was just filming and asking questions, and lefty violence ensued. There for free speech? No, I don't think they are. I think that is the conversation worth having, that we bring up situations like this and show how this is not in line with what they claim to be. So my media said, vote in politicians that will throw these people in jail. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. But you understand how that's a far cry away from talking about political violence. And I didn't necessarily think you were saying that, but that was the most rational conclusion from what you were saying, which is why this needs to be articulated. It's not good enough to just have the feelings. We have to be able to articulate it so that it can become reality. What did I miss? David said they jailed anti-abortion protesters, normal people, not just politicians. Historically, conservatives fight for your right to be in opposition to them, and leftists want to silence opposition. Mm-hmm. And so we should... Again, you keep saying things that I already agree with. I know that. I agree with you. You're not giving me any new information. You're just saying, the left is bad. The left does this. The left is that. The left is... I know. I agree with you.
Touched her, and she just kidnapped my child to kill him, and she doesn't need to. So what happens when she seeks to cross that border to get an abortion? You have two states with polar opposite worldviews. Mm-hmm. It will not be tolerated. We already saw, I think it might have been Arkansas, they tried to have a woman hunted down because she fled the state with a friend to get an abortion. And they said, it might not have been, I can't remember which state it was. They said that it was a conspiracy to break the law, and therefore they needed to stop her.
Sure.
At what point? I mean, maybe the argument...
In case you missed the beginning of what he said, because I stopped it, he always uses the example of Oklahoma banned abortion, and Colorado has, full abortion. And so what happens if there's a couple in Oklahoma, and the girl doesn't want it, or they get pregnant, the girl doesn't want it, and she's heading to the border to get an abortion in Colorado, and the dude doesn't want the abortion. So we have conflicting state values. But that's nothing new. And that's what we want. Is it not? Do we not want different states to have different laws and different cultures? I thought that was the whole thing.
Is that a kid gets taken by a stranger and brought to Washington to get a sex change?
I mean, it sounds like we're already there, Liberty. I don't know. Sounds like we're already there.
That a kid gets taken by a stranger and brought to Washington to get a sex change, and the parents go, well, that's life, I guess. I don't see that as being a reality. I think the parents are going to be like, lock and load, mother. We're going to town.
Sure, I agree.
And so, again, I agree. Dave's explaining why the right feels it cannot lose or will result in civil war. But cannot lose by what means? Like, again, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to make a point. So I know you are not saying this, but I'm just trying to make a point that if I didn't know you, and let's say somebody randomly came into this and just read this, is it insane for them to think that you're calling for violence? And so if that's not what you mean, and I know you to some extent, and I don't fully understand what it is that you're calling for, then that's a problem. We need to know what it is. What is our goal? We can't have a shared goal if we don't know what the goal is. Identifying the problem absolutely is the first step. 100%. But then we got to figure out what to do.
The issue is,
I'm not even saying I have all the answers, but I'm establishing that we are in a state that's the place we're in. Okay, what do we do? And I'm saying that act just like the left, as Tim just said, is not I'm not going to do that.
that the idea that our country, like it sounds like what you're saying is the conclusion that you're saying is our country isn't going to continue to exist as a democracy as we've known it. And I'm saying
it isn't a democracy.
Whatever version of America that we have now.
No. I'm not making a semantic debate over constitutional republicanism. I'm saying since Trump's election, we have not functioned in any real democracy. And one could argue
that is true. Oh, shout out to Box with the to Dallas. Thank you so very, very much. Do we have anyone over on, we got Tree Rogue. You come on over to, there you go. Tree Rogue and Lone Wolf and Caucasian Debris. You guys come on over to the landscape stream. It is past the 2-hour mark, and I think I'm going to shut that shit down. We got 4 of you over there. Go hit the link in the description and come on over. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to come on over. I am shutting down the vertical stream.
I'm saying since Trump's election, we have not functioned in any real democracy. And one could argue that we haven't since the liberal economic order. But my point is Donald Trump wins and they claimed for years he was propped up by Russia, even arguing the votes were flipped by Russia, and then launched an investigation and ultimately impeached him. Then when Trump loses in 2020, the right says Joe Biden, the Democrats, stole the election. There is no belief on either side that there is a functioning democracy right now.
Sure. But part of that.
So I missed the last part. What do you say?
The right says Joe Biden, the Democrats, stole the election. There is no belief on either side that there is a functioning democracy right now.
Sure. But part of that.
I mean, do you see it? Did you see it on the screen? Then probably.
Comes down to we are under threat from when you look at Russiagate, for example, there weren't connections that could be made to Trump, but there were, I believe, 12 Russian individuals that were arrested that had found to hack multiple sites and that were actually engaging.
And how many Ukrainians did we arrest for manipulating the election in favor of Clinton?
I'm not sure.
Hey, that's better than going out and killing your political enemies. Anybody disagree? Anybody disagree that sitting around having endless debate and changing nothing is better than having a civil war where we go out and kill people? Just saying. Shout out to Dick Johnson. Welcome to the party. We did hit the goal and already got his peanut butter. But don't forget, every new dono is not only another treat, but another push-up. All right.
How many Ukrainians did we arrest for manipulating the election in favor of Clinton?
I'm not sure.
Zero.
Do you know the answer?
Zero.
Well, hold on. Did they get investigated?
Yes, and instead they arrested Paul Manafort instead of the Ukrainians.
Was he guilty?
And then Paul Manafort?
Was he? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the
again,
case.
It's going to fall back to when the Democrats took power, knowing that they've been propped up by the Ukrainians, they arrested a Trump ally and then told us he was guilty.
Well, Mother Marmina said the culture in states should not be killing babies and giving kids sex changes. Agreed. How do we get there, though? Do we kill the and I'm not saying you're saying this. I'm being hyperbolic to make my point. Do we kill the people who want that, or do we make better arguments so that the people who are voting then understand our perspective? And because we know that generally a sane human does not want to kill a baby or give kids sex changes, when we can present it and articulate it in the right way instead of just saying, "Oh, well, it's healthcare." Then we change people's minds. It's slow. It happens on an individual basis. But if you have a better idea, any of you, I am happy to hear it.
Knowing that they've been propped up by the Ukrainians, they arrested a Trump ally.
Okay, so let's just go all cry and stuff.
And then told us he was guilty. And if you're a Trump supporter, you're going to say that's BS.
Sure,
no one will believe it.
Sure, but you already basically said after J6, democracy's basically
before
over.
J6. I mean, J6 was a product of people believing democracy was over.
Sure, and so the question is, the conclusion cannot be, and maybe you just want to, I guess, toss the country to the wolves and say it's over. I don't think that that's what we should fight for.
No. That's what it sounds like. But every time it's well, no, that's not what we're saying. So what are you saying?
Because a lot of good people
I
would die if we do.
I don't think it's over. I just think this has to play itself out ultimately. And again, going back to what Tim said,
story here.
If a president of the United States, along with his CIA director and other ICs, are making up manufactured intelligence to try to prosecute someone who's trying to get elected as president, I don't think we have a
democracy. I mean, they raided Trump's home. We don't have a democracy. They fabricated evidence and took pictures of it. We don't have a democracy. Were they
investigated and found guilty for it and tried? Can we look that up?
No, they won't
went
be.
to Trump's house,
that's the point.
Went through his daily logs, found a series of things they determined to be classified, and then put fake classification papers on top of it.
What? Oh, hell no.
It's because she's not blonde, isn't it? It's because she's not blonde. Bro, she is slamming. I don't care. I would tear that apart. Hey, shout out to Trey Williams. Welcome. Said, I mean, while I'm not for abortion, I don't think it should be taken away, but I do think there should be guidelines to it. And exactly. So we have somebody like Trey who is saying like, okay, I'm not, pro-abortion, but I do think it should be there. And it is up to us, we, the people who believe that it is wrong in all circumstances, to present the case for it being illegal, for it being wrong in all cases. But also, Part of having democratic aspects of your constitutional republic is that not everybody's going to agree, which is totally fine. It's totally fine. I have a strong feeling that a lot of this is going to bubble up, and that, you know, the after Trump is gone, a lot of people are just going to stop caring. I think you're going to see a reversion to people looking to do other things. People are tired. People are burnt out. I think people are looking for a reason to stop caring about politics, but they feel like Trump is such a, you know, evil that they can't. So I feel like half of this might take care of itself. Oh, I love a small nose. Oh, that small nose, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Lone Wolf said saying the right is in power is such a disingenuous argument. Why is the right running into any opposition against what they want to pass if they are truly in power? The left doesn't like using their brain. I disagree. I don't think that in power means having ultimate authority. But the right wing, the Republican Party, is holding offices of power. I don't. That's not an opinion, right? You ain't see me in action, bro. You ain't see me in action, bro.
Found a series of things they determined to be classified and then put fake classification papers on top of it, took a picture of it.
Okay, and then
told the American people Trump had classified documents. They were his daily briefings.
I mean, come on. You can tell me you wouldn't hit that? Come on, get the fuck out of here. Oh, got it.
These people are evil.
Ask her about this.
Just the left? I'm sorry.
I didn't say just the left. I said the people who raided Trump's home and fabricated evidence to put him in prison are evil.
Sure. Yeah. If that occurred in the way that you describe it, yes, I would be opposed to these things. I'm not granting you that necessarily at all.
When did we ever have Ukraine Gate? Why didn't we spend $30 million on a Mueller probe to investigate the Ukrainians who interfered in the election?
Donald Trump wasn't the only presidential candidate in
2017. It's a good question. Donald Trump was the only presidential candidate whose campaign was boosted by a
yeah, Davey Havoc looks like a fucking chick. She's the actual chick version.
Officials from a former Soviet bloc country. Ukrainian government officials tried to help Hillary Clinton to undermine Trump by publicly questioning his fitness for office. They also disseminated.
Hey, whoa. Simping is energy towards that girl to try to get her to like me. Observing that I find her attractive is not simping. Simping is if I was giving her money, or if I was trying to, tag her on Twitter or whatever. That is simping. Oh, stop simping for Asians, bro. That's what Box thinks. Right? Exactly, King. Thank you. Shout out to Cheddar Steve over on Rumble. Welcome to the party. Walt Disney had an 11-inch wang. True story. How did it feel? Got him!
To help Hillary Clinton to undermine Trump by publicly questioning his fitness for office. They also disseminated documents implicating a top Trump aide in corruption and suggested they were investigating the matter, only to
I'm Asian, simp for me, that motherfucker!
Back away after the election, and they helped Clinton's allies research damaging information on Trump and his advisors, a Politico investigation found. Why didn't we ever get any of that? And you're right.
That's a good question.
Yep.
Why didn't Trump do that? He was
Trump didn't
clearly
arrest Hillary
willing to
Clinton.
weaponize the DOJ
You're
now.
correct. Trump should have locked Hillary up, and he didn't do it because he's weak.
Well, he should have not locked Hillary up.
He liked Hillary.
And fair. I think that was maybe a weak is not the word that I would use. I think it was a little bit more strategic. I think in this day and age, if the lock her up thing came up, then that bitch would be in jail. But this is almost acting like not locking up a former presidential candidate is weakness. In 2016, like that's not what the world was like. You're in fantasy land to think that would have been a positive thing. That anyone besides the very core base, which is a lot bigger now than it was back then. Relax. She's pregnant and about to have a baby, so chill the fuck out. Yes. Oh, he should have locked her up. That's weakness. That's a stupid take. Trey said Trump has spent the last 3 elections saying everything was rigged against him, but he won 2 out of 3. I think he won 3 out of 3, but personally, it just felt like he was building in an excuse in case he lost. Probably, yeah. I mean, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't shady shit. Let's not pretend there wasn't shady shit going on, especially in 2020.
And he didn't do it because he's weak.
Well, he should have not locked Hillary up.
He likes Hillary.
The answer isn't we should throw away due process. The actual answer is we must demand due process.
Who said anything about throwing away due process?
Well, locking her up assumes that she wouldn't get fair process.
Criminally charged Hillary Clinton.
Whoa. Why would locking her up assume that she wouldn't get fair process? We're saying she should be locked up because she should be locked up and would be found so in a court of law. Not just lock her up because fuck that bitch. Is that what you thought? Is that what you thought, Kyla? That you thought that we wanted to lock Hillary up because we just didn't like her? Actually, I can't say we. I voted for her. I'm sorry, I don't know about it. But now I want her locked up. But you think it's just because like that? Yeah, exactly. That would be lawfare. No, locking people up for the crimes that they committed is not lawfare. But even there, there is enough gray area with wartime stuff. There's enough there to be like, okay, well, you know, you were what was her position at the time? Whatever it was, and that can I can understand how in the political landscape that we have, I'm not saying on a reasonable basis between normal people, on the political way, in the same way that Fauci is scot-free. That Benghazi could be chalked up to bad decision making on info that we didn't have, or some bullshit like that. But the fucking acid washed servers, clear as day. Yep, I don't think any of us did. Well, so that's another distortion being made of in power. When the left says the right is in power, they are implying that the right holds enough of a majority to pass what they want. Maybe, but Box, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that that's what Box meant. So until somebody here says that, we're going to take people at their word. But yeah, she was Secretary of State. Thank you. But yeah, that's a position where it's like you even though you and I wouldn't agree that, well, this is enough of a reason to let her off. The way that politics works, it would be. Not the fucking servers.
Throwing away due process.
Well, locking her up assumes that she wouldn't get fair process.
Criminally charged Hillary Clinton over the emails,
Sure, and then if she is found guilty in a court of law when the jury of her peers,
which she would be,
so am I.
Yes, that she should be charged. In the case of the Russia hoax,
what happened is that many people were charged. There were serious issues with Russia that was found, but there was no tight connection that could be tied to Trump, which is why he wasn't arrested for it.
Trump.
Is that
so
good
where's
or
our due
bad?
process?
No. He was impeached over that.
He was impeached over the call to Ukraine, which was related to Russia.
And Hillary Clinton was never held accountable for classified information on personal servers.
Can we get our due process?
Go through? Did he stay president? I'm not. Did he stay president until Joe Biden got elected, or did he?
What does that mean?
Well, he got impeached. Did he get? Yeah. Was he removed as the?
Kyla, you don't think you would have remembered if Donald Trump was removed from office? Stupid. I'll chalk that up to just being in the moment and just being overstimulated. Was he removed?
What?
Do you think that you would be able to forget that?
Well, until Joe Biden got elected, or did he?
What does that mean?
Well, he got impeached. Did he get?
Yeah.
Was he removed as the president?
He wasn't convicted. No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
what does that have to do with saying he got impeached?
Well, that's saying
we didn't say he was removed.
People can investigate. People can make moves in office to do different things through legitimate actors, and sometimes they fail. Either a sign.
I'm going to step right back and just say this: there are two political factions in this country that are tearing each other's throats out. Nothing's going to stop them. One side is hell bent on engaging in psychotic, evil lawfare, and the other side is crop dusting it.
And again, I agree with the assessment of what's going on and what's going wrong. I disagree that means we should either throw our hands up or behave like they do, or just assume that there is nothing to be done, so cry. None of those are good enough for me, even if it is damn near inevitable If you are, I mean, think of any other situation. Think of any other situation. Let's say you're skiing and you're in an avalanche, in an avalanche, and you're way out there, and the snow is fucking 10 feet deep, and you're probably gonna fucking die. They don't know you're out there. They don't have signs out. You're, on the double black diamond, whatever. Are you just gonna not fight for your life because you're probably going to die? If you are, that's pretty gay.
How many people do we have live right
I
now?
haven't said anything this whole time. I just want to say, guys, I think this is just a waste of time because it's obvious that we have a uniparty. You can look at Donald Trump, who campaigned that he's not going to start any wars. He started a huge war. You can say that he was going to get rid of all the illegal immigrants. Now he has all these multinational corporations saying we can't get rid of the illegal immigrants. So we have a uniparty. So this idea that it's right versus left is just meant to make us argue on podcasts. So it's really not true.
I don't fully agree. I get what you're saying, Liberty, but we have to understand that as dark as that is, the system, like, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in the system. Like, this is always the way the system has worked, or at least for as long as it's been relevant. So we can still separate the fact that these are people more evil than we ever could have understood, without being stuck and not understanding the balance, the necessity, the lesser of two evils. It is what it is. It is what it is. Bunkmaster said that seems reasonable. She should have known not to startle an illegal. They're going through a stressful time right now. What did I miss? I'm gonna assume you got it. These people have been in charge since before the country. Continuing to play within their rules just seems kind of insane. How do you vote your way out of this? Well, you don't. But you can vote yourself away from the worst version of it. Do you think that do you think that your life would be worse right now if Kamala was president? Because I do. Actually, let's put that to a poll. Would your life be worse if Kamala had won? Shout out to Drifter. I'm about to shut down the vertical stream, so make sure you check out the link in the description. The party rages on the landscape. Come on through. Shout out to Avery. Welcome. Very good to see ya. So we're talking about the idea that Liberty Class said these people have been in charge since before the country. Continuing to play within their rules seems kind of insane. How do you vote your way out of this? And I said, I don't think that you do vote your way out of it. But we can vote ourselves away from the worst version of it. That's where I'm at. Thank you. So very, very much. All right, diving back in here.
Now he has all these multinational corporations saying we can't get rid of the illegal immigrants. So we have a uniparty. So this idea that it's right versus left is just meant to make us argue on podcasts. So it's really not true.
Alex,
I'm just telling you.
I disagree. I think they're giving up.
Would you take the uniparty over a radical left who wants to lock up their political opponents?
Over.
Have a good one. Peace out. And again, shutting down the stream on the vertical side. So only the landscapers.
No. A radical left who wants to lock up their political opponents.
Over. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Would I take the uniparty?
I'm giving you choices.
Trump has not prosecuted anybody for, Anthony Fauci.
No, hold on. They just issued a subpoena to come the other day. There's 130 subpoenas that went out over the grand conspiracy against Trump.
He's also subpoenaing Jerome Powell.
Nobody's got
been dismissed.
Yeah, but not
times.
Anthony Fauci. I mean, they've even come out and said that there's side effects to the vaccine, even though it is safe and effective. YouTube. So my point is, nobody's gone to jail.